Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show podcast, coming from right here in our quaint little studio. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea. I'm joined in studio today by Ray Ora.
Happy Monday.
Jonathan Voico.
Good morning, everybody.
And most importantly, you guys are here for our, I guess this is our first full week of the new year. The first full week, and it's good to have you guys here, and here's how today's show is going to go. We're going to start off by talking about a few predetermined topics that we've got lined up for you guys. Then in the second part of the show, we're going to take your live comments and questions. If you have a thought, theory, opinion, question, or topic that you'd like us to address, go ahead and fire it on into our tip link at www.streamelements.com/JohnCampea/tip. And here's the good news about the tip link. It's good 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if you're watching the show a little bit later in the day on YouTube, or if you're listening to this show later on our podcast feed, either on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, you can go ahead and send it in a topic anytime 24/7. And if you send one in when we're not live, we'll just get around to it on the next episode. Now, I want to give you guys a little bit of a heads up here. Of course, Jonathan was out a little bit under the weather last week for a number of days. So we fell behind on the tip questions. We are going to try to get through all the remaining tip questions that we have. But if we don't worry. Like if we end today's show and we didn't get to your tip question you had sent in the last couple of days, don't worry about it. We'll just get caught up tomorrow. We should be fully caught up either today or tomorrow. So we're going to do our best to get completely caught up here because we did fall behind a little bit. Anyway, guys, with all that down, let's get things started with this, shall we? So the box office last weekend was great. You know, we saw movies like Moana and Wicked take significant jumps up like 37, 38% at the box office last weekend, of course, being the big holiday weekend. But something interesting happened since then. Wicked has gone to VOD, and while it's still in theaters. And it's not a tremendous surprise when we go over now and look at the box office that while Moana and Wicked were basically doing the exact same numbers, like last week had the exact same percentage, like 37.2 and 37.6 or something like that. It's not a big surprise that this first weekend in the box office that Wicked is now on VOD, Wicked has taken its biggest single weekend box office drop at 48%, a full 15% more than Moana 2 took, when the last couple of weeks they have been absolutely identical. Now, some people will say that this more drastic drop-off at the box office, making less money, has nothing to do with the fact that Wicked went on VOD. And those people are stupid. Because, yes, it did. It had everything to do with it. 100%. This was, beyond a shadow of a doubt, a complete mistake on the behalf of the studio to drop this movie that was still showing great legs in its run. It was still making money in theaters. And guess what? You would have made the exact same amount of money on VOD if you had released it on VOD a month from now or 3 months from now. You wouldn't have lost out on a single dollar of revenue. I got told by an industry insider, hopefully they're right. They said they figure that Moana or Wicked got about 50,000 VOD orders. That's great. That's less than $1 million that it made. And it sacrificed $2 or $3 million to the box. We're talking the millions of dollars. And again, if they had just waited to put Wicked out another month, they would make the exact same amount of money. They wouldn't have lost a single dollar by delaying it. But you did lose money at the box office by putting it out like this. And you know, it's what makes it extra questionable is there's not a lot of big powerhouse movies coming out over the next couple of weeks. The box office for movies like Sonic, Moana, Wicked, things like that is still very fertile soil.
It's a very soft market.
Yeah, it's a very it's a very friendly environment right now for movies like Moana and Wicked to continue to make money.
I think the biggest thing coming out this weekend is Companion, which is an indie film. It's the one with Jack Quaid. So I mean, these should have no problem to stay in theaters.
No,
right now.
none at all. especially after last weekend, seeing them take jumps in their box office returns and to see this come down. And I hope that this, teaches a lesson or becomes an object lesson to them. It's like, oh yeah, like, listen, yeah, we made some money on VOD, but we would have made that exact same money later. As a matter of fact, we might have made more money on the launch of Wicked on VOD had we let it wait another couple of beats. We could have had a bigger open. You probably could have still made more money in the box office. And then when it did come time to launch Wicked, you could have made more money on the launch on VOD then than you did by doing it now.
Because you kept them waiting.
For me, I'm gonna be honest here. I actually watched Wicked because it went on digital, and I love the movie. It's
really good,
it's
right?
Fantastic. It was something that I would have never seen in the theaters, only because I'm still if on musicals. But this movie is really good. No matter who it's made for, this is a good movie.
It's a well-made, I mean, it really does harken back. I said this when I walked out of seeing it the first time, to like old golden era Hollywood.
Exactly,
movie
that's what I was
making.
going
It
to
was
say.
grand,
And like took
epic.
it back to the old school in such a modern way.
Yeah,
For me, like this movie deserves all the awards it's going to get. Maybe it was an Oscar thing that so more people could view it. People like me who wouldn't go to the theaters to watch it.
They could still
I don't
release
know.
it before
I don't
that,
know.
though.
But yeah, like the money thing, that's probably their bad for releasing it so early. But at least for me, I got to watch it, and now I kind of regret not seeing it in theaters.
because it was so beautiful. Listen, I think you should go to see every movie in theaters.
Right.
But not every movie needs to be seen on the big screen.
I just feel like
But this is one of the ones that you really should see on the big screen.
I just feel like, how sometimes I fall asleep in the theater. I don't want to disrespect any of those fans. I know Wicked fans are very hardcore or very passionate. It just felt disrespectful if that's what I ended up doing. That's why I wanted to see it at home first. Now I do regret not seeing it in theaters.
And here's the other thing. You know what's coming out soon? Oscar nominations. Like with there being kind of a soft runway at the box office for the next few weeks, when the Oscar noms get dropped, and Wicked's going to get a lot of them, it could have made for another extra boost at the box. Again, I'm just saying that whatever money they make on VOD, they would have made the exact same amount or more had they waited, but they absolutely, and these numbers prove it, they would have absolutely continued to make more money at the box office. Instead, they hurt their box office numbers and they made no headway with the VOD numbers. So like, I just, especially a movie like this that's got so much buzz and such a fan base. By the way,
you know what I hate, John? Hold on, bro. You know what I hate? That I paid $24.99 and don't even get a physical copy.
but at least you have it wherever you go.
Right, true.
You can
true.
watch it right now,
But-
here on your
but that
monitor. If you want
He
to.
is.
That packaging for that Blu-ray is going to be magnificent, I believe.
I was going to say, so like Wicked right now, it's getting ready to cross the $700 million mark.
Yeah.
And look, do I think had it not gone to VOD that it had a chance at $1 billion? No, I think it would have been a little bit further ahead by now for it to have a chance at $1 billion.
Yeah.
But I think 850?
I think now
I think that could have been in the car. Now it won't get to 850.
No, I think now I think it'll land probably closer to 750.
Which is still great.
Yeah, $750 million.
It's still absolutely great for them. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Wicked, despite being neck and neck, head and head, completely even with Moana through their numbers, took their biggest drop this weekend, well behind Moana. Not surprisingly, it's the same week they put the thing out on VOD. Anyway, however you feel about that, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. That down. Let's move on to this, shall we? Where the hell is Batman 2? Where is it? I mean, it's been years, and now we found out it's not even coming out. It's not coming out in 2025. It's not coming out in 2026. It's coming out in 2027, which means it'll be 5 years in between Batman and Batman 2, living up to a guy who I love, Matt Reeves. Great filmmaker. I love watching his movies. He did such a good job on the Batman, but he does have a bit of a reputation around Hollywood that he is slow. And some would even say lazy, but slow. Anyway, we've been waiting for like more definitive updates about it. And at the Golden Globes last night, Matt Reeves was being interviewed on the carpet, and he gave finally a bit of an update seemingly confirming that the Batman 2, I mean, this is the first time I think we heard it from Matt Reeves, is going to shoot this year. They're going to shoot it this year. This comes from the folks over at Gizmodo who wrote the following. During a recent interview with Deadline at the Golden Globes, Matt Reeves stated that he is, quote unquote, really excited to get new people involved in the Batman Part 2, which he feels, quote unquote, people are going to be really surprised by. Additionally, filming is expected to begin later this year. Then they give a part of his quote, I'm really excited to be making it and to get our cast back together. I mean, not excited enough to do it 2 years ago, but whatever. I'm really excited to be making it to get our cast back together and to get new people involved. I think what I'm excited about is I feel like we're going to do something that absolutely continues where the story came from, but is something that I hope that people are going to be really surprised by. All right. So first things first. Good to hear that the Batman will be shooting this year. I mean, that's good. Although if it is shooting this year, why is it still not coming out till 2027?
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to amend that now. Because that was based on information that he had previously. So James Gunn said, well, it's going to take 2 years to get, everything. But now we're beyond pre-production. If we're starting this year.
Now, unless when he says this year, that means December 30th.
Yeah.
Then that would make more sense, right? But it is exciting to hear that it is going to finally go into production. But here's one of the other interesting things. Like, everybody's talking about that one statement that it's going to go into production this year. That's great. But the one thing that I don't hear anybody talking about is the other part of that statement, which is we're going to get new people involved and it's going to be really surprising to the audience. Well, wait a minute. You're going to get people. Is Ben Affleck going to be in this thing? Is Liam Neeson, also known as the Liam Neesons? Is the Liam Neesons going to be in this thing? Is Christian Bale going to show up? Is Morgan Freeman going to saunter all in? Is the spirit of Burgess Meredith going to be summoned from the Ouija itself and brought into this movie?
I just watched Grumpier Old Man Outtakes last night with Burgess Meredith. It's weird timing that you bring that up.
Bring that up?
Yeah.
Because how often does Burgess Meredith come up? But no, like when he says, we're going to bring people in that are going to be really surprising. It's like, well, I mean, Mr. Freeze is going to be in the movie. Okay, but that's not a big surprise. Robin's going to make an appearance. Okay, but that's not a big surprise. I mean, I'm not expecting Robin in it, but if they did, it's the Batman universe. Not a big surprise. Maybe Blade is going to be in it. Surprise! Blade makes his appearance in DC Elseworlds because he ain't appearing anywhere else.
Yeah.
I mean, so does he mean Colin Farrell pops up? But that's not a surprise. He was in the last one. So I am very curious what Matt Reeves is hinting at and teasing at when he says we're going to get new people involved and it's going to surprise the audience. So I don't know. Do you guys got any theories about who or what Matt there could be talking about?
Well, first off, I take this as two separate statements. I think it was just like the way his mind was flowing, where he's just like, we're getting our cast together, like our normal, obviously Pattinson, Gordon, all the normal cast of characters, and then there's the new people involved because it's a sequel.
Maybe
and then the second part of it is just that, like, yes, it's going to continue on from what we've built and what Penguin kind of took on for the next few months worth of time after the Batman. But it's not just going to be like, more of the same. I hope audiences are going to be surprised that, we take it to the next level. I think it's something like that. I think it's not necessarily a tonal shift, but maybe a shift in action, a shift in what is going on with Gotham. I don't think it's anything crazy, personally. Right?
Maybe all the recent news lately has forced him to actually.
Yeah, he's like, they're going to be really
actually announce this news just so
they're gonna be really surprised we're shooting. So
they're gonna be shocked. Oh wait, you're actually making it?
Yeah.
Have we got any confirmation on the villain of this?
No,
nothing.
I don't even think he's finished the script.
Nothing.
Yeah. We had nothing.
So
on
maybe
it.
this is something that he's said, maybe because he's under heat right now. I don't know.
That could be.
Well, I'm sure he is under heat. I mean, the pressure from social media and goobers like me, like constantly, hey, Matt, it's been years since your Batman movie. Like, where's the next one?
But also, I have to maybe bring up, we had that Superman trailer recently. Then we had that Batman silhouette in the Creature Commandos.
Yeah.
Is this in any for it getting like, you know, overshadowed by what
like
James Gunn
stoke the flames.
like lost in the mix?
Yeah, I don't think so because like you could have. I mean, we're talking about when did the Superman trailer come out? 3 weeks ago.
Right.
Right. Okay. What about the last 3 years?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Right,
like,
right.
you know, but like I could see why you may not want to make any major announcement around, you know, the 4 or 5 days surrounding like a Superman trailer. I could get that, but we're talking a scope of years.
And
here.
and do you think that 2027 release, despite you know, maybe it is December that they start filming, then it makes sense, has anything to do with the other Batman's release or in the fold?
like the Brave and the Bold?
Yeah.
They
Do you
might
think
want to
that-
put some distance between, like maybe they're aiming at a
Absolutely.
Brave and the Bold in 2026.
Absolutely.
I think
Wouldn't you? I mean, would you be?
I wouldn't put them out 1 month apart from each other.
Yeah, I mean,
But I think if there was like a good 4 months in between them, like you could put one out, say, in March and one in October, and I think that's perfectly fine.
right.
But I don't know. There could be a lot of different pieces on the puzzle moving around. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? I mean, Matt Reeves is now confirming that they're going to go into production this year. Do you think maybe like Jonathan that maybe that means they might move up that 2027 release date to sometime in 2026? Do you think maybe like Ray is theorizing that maybe the reason it's pushed out is because they don't want it to get too close to a Brave and the Bold? Not that we have a release date for that either right now. Whatever you guys think about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right. With that down, guys, let's move on to this, shall we? You know, one of my big pleasant surprise shows this year was Agatha All Along. I mean, I expected that I would enjoy it because I love Kathryn Hahn desperately, and I really quite enjoyed the Agatha character in WandaVision. So I suspected that I would enjoy this show. I didn't suspect that I would borderline love it. I just thought it was one of the most well-written shows that they've had so far. The cast was fantastic. By the way, you remember I was just telling you I started watching that show, The Diplomat?
Right.
yep.
The one witch in Agatha who dies, you remember her mother was the singer and she's had the curse on her the whole life, the Asian girl? She's one of the main characters in The
nice.
Diplomat. She's really good in that too. Anyway, so Agatha, you guys know, was initially listed as a limited series, aka a miniseries, 1 season and done. They've recently, we talked about on the show, changed the terminology. They now on Disney Plus, it is no longer called the complete series. It's now called season 1.
Mm-hmm.
And they are now running it in the Emmys for your consideration as a comedy series, not as a limited series. So that kind of implies, not guarantees, that we could see Agatha return. Well, at the Golden Globes, Kathryn Hahn was being interviewed, and she confirmed that she's not done playing the character. She claims to not know what's going on, but she kind of directly, indirectly kind of hints that we may see her in Vision, something I didn't think we would. Anyway, this comes us from Gizmodo, who wrote, in a conversation with TV Line, Kathryn Hahn stated she isn't quote unquote personally done playing Agatha Harkness, but has no idea if Disney has additional plans for the character. I am personally done with playing this witch? No. However, we have to let the powers that be make those decisions. I am as in the dark as you are. I don't believe that. There's going to be a Vision show. So that could be a trilogy with WandaVision and Agatha all along. But who knows? All right. I think at this point, it's become abundantly clear that we are going to see Kathryn Hahn as Agatha again. I mean, again, once the renaming the series from a limited series to season 1, all that kind of stuff. I mean, if there was a category at the Golden Globes for best series this year featuring singing lesbian witches, Agatha would definitely have won that award. The only other competitor, of course, was The Acolyte. Agatha would have taken it. No problems. No questions asked. I think, though, it is interesting that she voluntarily brought up Vision.
Yeah. I mean, I get the.
Nobody asked her about it.
Yeah.
She just brought it up.
You know,
I get the through line. It's, you know, it was WandaVision, Agatha, Vision Quest. But at the same time, I don't think a lot of people necessarily would think Vision Quest that's going to involve Agatha now, because he jumped town, he took off. So I think it's a little odd that she just brought that up.
Yeah, like just out of nowhere, it's like, oh, like I'm not done playing this character, but I don't know what Disney's doing. I mean, hey, there's this Vision show coming, I guess.
What kind of impact do you see her having on that show, or is it just going to be just a cameo?
You know what? That's a really, really good question. Like, okay, so first of all, we're making an assumption that could very well be wrong. Let's go with it for a second.
Yeah, we're ready.
That Kathryn Hahn is going to be in Vision. Okay, if she is, and we're just for the sake of the discussion going to assume she is.
Mm-hmm.
Couple of things I think would happen. Number one, she would not show up as Ghost Agatha. I think she would show up kind of like how at the end of the one movie, Tony Stark took out the arc reactor and said, I'm done. I'm no longer Iron Man. And then all of a sudden the next Avengers movie comes along and he's Iron Man again. He's got an arc reactor.
Like no questions asked.
Yeah.
Just
I think, but they did address it. They did address it in the movies. Remember, he says he was talking to Pepper about it and saying, you know, I just realized, you know,
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be an explanation given, but I think maybe she just pops up in physical form because frankly, as much as I loved Agatha, I don't care about Ghost Agatha. So there's that. I think if she is in Vision, I see it as maybe a minor 1 or 2 episode appearance. And maybe in the role of where does the mystic and the machine have crossroads? Like, remember this Vision, this white Vision, isn't the Vision that we had in the other series because that one died. This is a new Vision who carried over the memories of the old Vision, but he's also kind of on an identity quest, a Vision quest. And maybe I'm spitballing here. Maybe, you know, Agatha becomes a mystic tool to try to help him regain his soul.
maybe.
I mean, I don't know. Again, can Marvel cross the mystic and the machine?
That's going on to a way big role then, a way bigger role in the series.
Maybe, yeah.
If
But
she's
it
the
does make
catalyst.
sense. Although it makes sense, I mean, yeah. I'm just looking for maybe just a straight up cameo that will lead into a season 2. But as far as being a integral part of Vision's story, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, no,
yet.
I agree. I don't see Agatha being. I think Vision's going to have his own main storyline. I think if anything, Agatha will be a B-level storyline in it and not a major part. Like it's not going to be
a reoccurring.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier,
Right.
Vision and Agatha. I don't think it's going to be that.
So-
I think Agatha maybe makes an appearance.
Yeah.
We might get one full episode with him.
Agreed.
Just to get, you know, whatever the story they're trying to say or tell.
Maybe
done
she's
away with.
maybe she's trying to see if there's like traces of like Wanda's soul or power in him. or
Yeah,
something
like,
that.
look, listen, they've kind of been hinting that maybe they're going to bring Wanda back, and maybe that's again part of it, crossing the mystic and the machine. Is there Wanda residue?
Yeah.
In
That
that
would not only that, but that would just
that's what you find on the bed sheets.
that
Sean.
would just tease her even more, and I don't like that, especially if she's not coming back.
Oh, but if she is though,
Yeah,
then
don't tease something that's not going to come back, because I really like Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, don't tease
I like
the Wanda
actress,
residue.
I like the character.
Yeah, they just got to depower her a lot. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Kathryn Hahn kind of hinted unprovokedly that maybe she appears in the Vision series. I don't know. Whatever you guys think about this, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's
Whoop.
move on to this, shall we? Was that my camera?
yeah, I
That
just
did
got-
that?
Yeah, I'll have to power it back on.
I'll do it. Well, you put it.
So
Yeah.
we had a little technical difficulties.
Yes.
I had
Hank-
the fan on,
My
but it heated.
All right, we'll get back onto it here. I'll just keep going here while Jonathan gets my camera
Yeah.
fixed up here. So yeah, put the camera on, Ray. So here's the box office. Talking about Mufasa. You know what? I can't start because of the segment.
Yeah,
We can't start on a black screen. Let's get the fans on.
The fan's on, but
It's is the thing closed? The back screen's open? All right, that hasn't happened in like over a year. We haven't had a camera overheat in like a year. That's crazy.
Oh, it might be Scarlet Witch.
It's maybe Scarlet Witch,
we're getting
the spirit of Blade.
too close to the what was happening.
Yeah, no, Kevin Feige's here somewhere.
All right. With that down, guys, let's move on to this. You know, one of the big questions going into the box office at near the end of the year that a lot of people had was, which will be the bigger film? Mufasa or Sonic 3?
Mm-hmm.
Now, people got double mad at me because, number one, I told people Sonic 3 was not going to be a $1 billion film. And people thought I was insane for not believing it was going to be a $1 billion film.
I didn't either.
But there we go. But they got mad at me the second time around because I said I thought Mufasa was going to be the bigger movie. I thought Mufasa would probably make more money. I said Mufasa is also not going to make $1 billion. I said that from the day they announced the film, but I thought I had to guess Mufasa would be the bigger movie. Well, despite the fact that Sonic had a bigger opening, it's been looking very different. Take a look at the box office chart this weekend again. So Mufasa last week actually caught up to Sonic the Hedgehog, even though Sonic had a much bigger week one than Mufasa did.
Mm-hmm.
And now this week, it's past it. Now, I think it had a bigger 5-day holiday weekend last week, but I think the traditional 3-day window, Sonic was still ahead. Mufasa the Lion King, despite the fact that Sonic, in my opinion, is the better movie, I didn't particularly love Mufasa, to be honest. I love the first one. I don't care what anybody else says.
The
2019 Lion King was great.
Uh-huh.
It was great. I loved it. Not as good as the original, not at all, but it was still great. So I say this as somebody who loved the 2019 version. I didn't love Mufasa. I still can't hum one song from that movie. I don't ever plan on watching it. I didn't hate it, but I don't plan on watching it again. Sonic, on the other hand, purely delightful. I had a great time watching Sonic, but I still thought that Mufasa would be the better film. And as of right now, Mufasa the Lion King has pulled in, it's about to cross the $500 million mark. As of right now, it's pulled in $476 million. So it will cross the $500 million mark.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's significantly less than the 2019 film, but the 2019 film was a remake of the beloved classic. This is a original sequel, if you will.
And that one was live action. It had real lions.
Real talking lions.
Yeah.
Yep. A lot of people don't realize that. Actual talking lions. Whereas Sonic, I gotta say this though, Sonic the Hedgehog is disappointing at the box office.
Well, admittedly, for me, at least for all the Sonic movies, as much as I love them, for me, there's no rewatchability to any of them for me.
For the Sonic films?
Yeah. Even though I do love all of them, it's a one-time watch. I'm not going to the theater to watch Sonic 3 again. I'm sorry.
I watched the Sonic films multiple times myself.
Right. And for the same for me with Mufasa, it's a one-time watch for me too. And maybe there's just more people who wanted to watch Mufasa.
I think that's it. I mean, again, let's take a look
It's
at the
Disney,
Sonic box
after all.
office because, I mean, what did the last Sonic make? Can you pull that up?
Yeah.
But it's trailing behind it's even trailing behind the first movie
405
for the first one, right?
Yeah, and then I'm gonna look at the second was 405.
Oh, the second one was 405.
Yeah, and the first one was
I want to say it was
319.
319. So it's past the first one.
Yeah,
But I mean, it may or may not
It's got
catch
another
up to the second one.
60 mil or so to go to beat the second one.
Yeah, just recently they confirmed they're going to make a Sonic 4.
Yeah.
I wonder if they might rethink that.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, because it's when Mufasa starts behind and takes the lead on you, and Mufasa's not that good of a film. Again, it's not bad. I didn't think Mufasa was a bad film, so don't misinterpret me.
I think it would have been better non-musical, and I have no problems with musicals.
Absolutely would have been better as a non-musical.
I just felt
the music wasn't good in it.
I just felt like the music was like, we have to get the characters from point A to point B. Let's just have a song to bridge that gap as they go through the valley.
Yeah.
It was just like, okay.
The music, I talk about this a lot, the music did not help tell the story of the movie.
No.
And even if it does tell the story of the movie, you got to make the songs catchy.
Mm-hmm.
And none of them were catchy either.
I actually think that if Wicked and
Moana?
Moana wasn't in theaters from the start, I think Mufasa would have been beating Sonic.
But
It's just
right from the beginning.
I've always thought Mufasa would be the bigger movie than Sonic. I was hoping Sonic would get at least 6, but that's not going to happen.
Close
Yeah,
now.
600.
Yeah.
isn't
So
gonna happen
let's
for it,
stop my box office predictions forever from now on.
Yeah. So again, they've come out and announced, they've made it official, they're going to make a Sonic 4. I wonder if they're going to sit back, because listen, they made a good movie with Sonic 3. They had a good marketing campaign. We love the trailers. The big announcement of, people, when they announced that Keanu Reeves was going to do it, and so people, John, they just announced Keanu Reeves. People love Keanu Reeves. It's going to make $1 billion. Okay, yes, but they announced Keanu Reeves was going to be in, which got a big splash.
Mm-hmm.
People were excited about it, and yet it is still, by Sonic standards, listen, there's some movies that would kill to make $340 million. But by Sonic standards, this thing is kind of limping along, and I wonder if maybe the passion for Sonic is waning with the audience. I don't know.
I want to bring up 2 other Paramount films. TMNT, Mutant Mayhem,
Right.
Transformers 1. Immediately after watching both of them, I wanted to go back and watch. Whether it's because I missed something, whether it's because I just wanted to see it again. Though I had that feeling after. The Sonic movies, I've never had that feeling afterwards.
I agree.
It's almost like I was full. I'm full already. Like, I don't need any more food. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're satisfied with what you got. You don't go around for seconds. And I don't know what that problem with the Sonic movies
I just
is
think
for
they're
me.
very straightforward linear films.
Right.
And very, like, you do really have to. I mentioned this last week before I started dying, that you have to really set aside your, like, disbelief, because there's a lot of stuff that just conveniently happens in it, and that's the tone of the film. I get it, but I think once you get it, once you watch it, you're like, okay, and then this happens, A, B, C, D, it's done, it's cute, you move on, you know?
Right.
Yeah, listen, one of my I loved Sonic 3, but it is my 3rd favorite of the Sonic films. And one of the things I mentioned was that in every Sonic movie there is a degree of silliness.
Yeah.
Like all the number 1 does, number 2 does. I just kind of felt like part 3, and I think maybe this is the reason it's my 3rd favorite. They kind of like Thor: Love and Thunder. They leaned a little bit too much into the silliness. Like, again, the other ones have silliness too, but the silliness is used well. This one felt a little silly for the sake of being silly sometimes, and it took away from some of the more solid parts of the film.
One thing I would have added, I don't know how they would have done it, but a little bit more James Marsden would have been.
I agree. I really like James Marsden in this, but I'll tell you this too. Look, they've officially announced Sonic 4. They are probably going to make it, but I'll say this. Don't bother if you can't get Jim Carrey back.
Yeah.
Because I hate saying it, but like, Jim Carrey has turned out to be the star of the Sonic films.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
And he was the best part of Sonic 3.
And one of the best parts about Sonic, I
Both
thought,
of them, his
was
characters.
the James Marsden relationship with Sonic. Whether you saw him as either a dog or his own kid. I really missed that in Sonic 3. That little back and
The
forth.
dynamic between James Marsden
Yeah,
and Sonic.
because
They definitely could have used that.
It brings it home for a lot of us.
It gives it more heart.
Yeah, it absolutely
Relatable heart. And I think they tried doing a little bit of that in this movie, but it didn't do it as effectively. And I think you're right. I think it needed a little bit more James Marsden. And they had a perfect amount of Jim Carrey. Again, every best part of this movie was Jim Carrey with as his grandpa.
Yep.
That, again, I still see the dance scene is going to be, if I did do a list of my top 5 funniest moments in movies of 2024, that dance scene would absolutely be on that list. I laughed out loud so hard when they started doing that. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? After coming out to a pretty solid start, Sonic has kind of started to sputter a bit at the box office. Mufasa, which is a movie that isn't even as good as it is, Mufasa's now past it. It's almost like a good $100 million ahead of it worldwide. It looks like Mufasa's going to cross the $500 million mark this week, and I don't think Sonic's going to get there, despite the fact that they made a pretty damn good movie. So I don't know. What's the problem here? Whatever you guys think about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? So last night was the Golden Globes. Now, I'm not going to be, vague about this. I don't have a lot of respect for the Golden Globes. Unlike the Academy Awards, which are voted on by like 8,000 film professionals actors, writers, directors, producers, all that kind of stuff. The Golden Globes are voted on by like a room full of people who don't matter. Sorry, no disrespect intended, but it's voted on by like 100 people who frankly don't matter. That just happen to be film journalists of foreign publications who live in the US. I don't care. But despite how I feel about the Golden Globes, they are, other than the Oscars, the most celebrated awards out there.
Are they the only place for TV awards?
No,
Are they
you got the
one for-
Emmys, you got the TV critics.
Oh, right,
you
the
got
Emmys.
Critics' Choice,
Sorry,
and-
sorry. Okay,
yeah,
go
so
ahead.
The Emmys obviously being the main ones.
Okay, yeah, I completely forgot.
So, I mean, I don't think, and I won't even go into all the controversy surrounding the Golden Globes. Needless to say, I don't hold the Golden Globes in high regard, but they are highly watched. As a matter of fact, just on their YouTube channel, the red carpet alone had over 60,000 live viewers just of the red carpet on YouTube. So and they had Nikki Glaser hosting this year, which I still didn't watch the show because I was enthralled in a certain football game last night. That was awesome. But I'll watch the Nikki Glaser stuff later because I love her. But that doesn't mean there isn't some notable things that come out of it. The most notable, at least for me, amongst the winners last night, the Penguins, Colin Farrell, took home the award for Best Actor in a limited, what their category is called limited series, anthology series, or motion picture made for television. Now, he won this award going against guys like Kevin Kline, Ewan McGregor, Andrew Scott, Richard Gadd from Baby Reindeer. I don't think he was the favorite to win this. And he ended up winning the award last night, which I thought was great to see. So congrats to Colin Farrell. And he even made this great, his first line in his acceptance speech, he gets up, takes it. I saw a clip of this on YouTube. He goes, well, I guess it's prosthetics from now on. Talking about the 3 hours every day that he had to sit in a chair every day, had to sit for 3 hours to have people put all the prosthetics and the makeup on him. And what a job they did. They did an incredible job on that. So, I mean, big props to Colin Farrell. I remember watching The Batman for the first time. And I remember when we heard that Colin Farrell was going to play Penguin, and the first image came out of him as Penguin. I'm like, that's not Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
They must have got somebody else. Oh, it is? What? And then you saw him in the movie? And it wasn't just, wow, what a great makeup job on Colin Farrell. He literally, his performance was transformative. I mean, he was so good in The Batman. He's one of the reasons I love that movie so much. And then, of course, the Penguin series came out. And I mean, again, one of the best shows of the year. It did get nominated for Best Drama Series. I could not be happier for him getting this recognition. I honestly think Colin Farrell has been one of the more underrated. Like, everybody knows he's good, but I think he's better than good. You remember, he was in that movie with Tom Hanks a bunch of years ago called Saving Mr. Banks. Saving Mr. Banks. Now, of course, it's hard when you're in a movie with Tom Hanks, you're going to get overshadowed. But I honestly 100% believe that Colin Farrell deserved an Oscar nomination for that movie. He's an incredible performer, and maybe it just took the prosthetics for him to get. Now, Kristen Milioti from The Penguin did not win Best Actress. She lost, and I know there were a bunch of people upset about that, but maybe surprisingly to you, I was okay with it. She lost to Jodie Foster, who won for True Detective Night Country. And I remember I was having this discussion online with some people today who was like, no, Milioti should have won. Milioti should have won. I said, did you watch True Detective Night Country?
Typically,
and they're
no.
like, no. Well, how can you say Milioti should have won if you
Yeah.
didn't even see Night Country? Anyway, as somebody who did watch Night Country, while I completely believe that Penguin was the better show, to me, the Penguin was the better show. I have zero problems with Jodie Foster winning for Night Country. Her performance in True Detective Night Country, I think, was one of the best performances of her career.
Yeah.
I thought she was ludicrously good in that series. Now, you may not have loved the series. That's fine. I thought it was quite good, but even if you didn't love the series, Jodie Foster's performance in Night Country was world class.
Yep.
So, I mean, would I have had a problem if Milioti won? No, not at all. She was so good in Penguin. But I have zero. You know what? If I had been a Golden Globe voter, and I'm glad I'm not,
You would have voted for J. Fost?
I think I would have been voting for J. I think my
Over
vote
C.
might have...
Millie? Okay.
C. Millie? That's going to catch on now.
Yeah.
Watch. C. Millie is now going to be the new thing.
Yeah,
But,
J. Fost is world class.
I think
C.
I'm going to
Millie.
go with your terminology here. I think J. Foss actually, I think she deserved it. I know that's not going to be the popular
Millie.
opinion, but it is what it is. I actually thought she deserved it, and maybe we'll see Milioti or C. Millie.
C. Millie.
C. Millie.
C. Millie is going to get her flowers when they do Penguin
Yeah.
season
She'll
2.
get her up her lead role in something.
Yeah, I mean, remember, she's been around a long time. She's been in some big high profile stuff. But at any rate, let's go through some of the winners here, shall we? We're not going to spend a tremendous amount of time on this, but let's go through some of the winners. First of all, performance by an actress in a supporting role in any motion picture, stupid category. Only because they separate drama from comedy for the best movies, best actors, best actress, but for supporting they don't make it
Can
anyway.
you please be serious about this, John?
Okay, I'll take it more seriously.
Please.
Now, I really thought they were going to give it to Ariana Grande for Wicked,
Should have.
but they gave it to Zoe Saldana,
Ooh.
who gave a great speech, by the way. So Zoe Saldana took it for Amelia Perez. Best performance by an actress in a television series, music, or comedy. No big surprise here. Jean Smart won for Hacks, beating out Kathryn Hahn for Agatha All Along. Selena Gomez for Only Murders in the Building. Quinta for Abbott Elementary. Kristen for Nobody Wants This. By the way, that little show on Netflix, Nobody Wants This, with Kristen Bell, that was better than I thought it was going to be. That was
Is that
actually
limited? That's limited too?
no,
that?
it's just by musical or comedy.
Okay.
And I've always mispronounced her name, Edibiri for the
Yeah.
bear, who's like sweet. By the way, she was the voice of in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles of
April?
April.
Yeah.
She was really good in that. Anyway, okay, so Jean Smart for Hacks wins that. No surprise. Best performance by an actor in a supporting role in a motion picture. Kieran Culkin won for Real Pain.
Yeah.
I actually thought they were going to give it to Denzel Washington. I don't think he should have won, but I thought they were going to give it to him. But anyway, he beats out Edward Norton.
Kieran Burrow.
Kieran Culkin, Guy Pearce, Jeremy Strong, his co-star in Succession. So he beat him out. So Kieran Culkin wins the award for Best Performance by an Actor in a Supporting Role in a Movie. Best Performance by an Actor in a Television Series Drama, Hiroyuki Sanada wins for Shogun. Super happy about that. It's swept up at the Emmys. It's swept up at the Golden Globes.
Yeah.
Shogun is one of my favorite shows in years. He totally deserved it.
Right.
Although Eddie Redmayne for The Day of the Jackal, chef's kiss, man. He's so good in that show. Although I didn't see the show, but I did see the YouTube clip of Nikki Glazer going, Eddie Redmayne has been nominated for The Jackal. You're so good in that, even though nobody watches Peacock or something.
A sniper. They can't locate or something like that.
She's seen more actual peacocks than shows on Peacock.
Yeah, she goes, I've seen more actual peacocks than shows on Peacock, which I thought was funny. Anyway, so Hiroyuki Sanada wins that. Best performance by an actress in a supporting role in a television series. Jessica Gunning for Baby Reindeer, which I thought was kind of surprising. But she won that, so good for her. Performance by an actor in a supporting role in a television series. Tabanobu Asano wins for Shogun. So again, continuing the Shogun thing, I kind of thought Harrison Ford for Shrinking should have won, but
At least my girl won.
so we'll get to that in a second.
You already know what I'm
But
talking
yes, I do. But he wins that for Shogun. Performance by an actor in a television series, musical, or comedy, no big surprise. Jeremy Allen White for The Bear. Although I did think there was an outside chance for Jason Segel in Shrinking or Martin Short or Steve Martin for Only Murders in the Building. Best screenplay for a motion picture. Peter Storgon for Conclave. I have no issues with that. Conclave is so freaking good. I loved that movie, and the screenplay is brilliant. So Conclave wins that for best screenplay.
Oh, the comedy of the year.
Best performance
no.
in a stand-up comedy special, which is a new category. And you know what? We talked about this when they announced
I like it.
I have very little respect for the Golden Globes, but I like the inclusion of this category. TV comedy specials are a major, major thing these days. So anyway, the winner was Ali Wong for Single Lady. Anne had me sit down and watch this about a month ago. It's really funny. It's not her best comedy special, but it's hilarious. She beat out Jamie Foxx's What Had Happened Was, Nikki Glazer's, Seth Meyers, Adam Sandler's, and Rami Youssef's comedy specials.
Wow.
Best motion picture non-English language, no surprise, it went to Amelia Perez. Best performance by an actor in a limited series, we already went over this. Colin Farrell wins for The Penguin. Kudos to Colin Farrell.
Kudos.
Again, we already went over this. Best performance by an actress in a limited series, Jodie Foster beating out C. Millie for The Penguin.
Jay Foss, man, killing it.
Jay Foss killing it, winning those awards. And again, I think it was totally deserved. Although, again, I wouldn't have thought anything was wrong if Milioti had won, but there you go. All right. Best performance by an actress in a motion picture, musical, or comedy. In a bit of a surprise, Demi Moore wins for The Substance.
Yeah.
I really thought they would have gone either Zendaya for Challengers. Also, I thought Mikey Madison for Honora.
Honora or
he might win the Oscar, by the way. Mickey Madison might win that.
Honora or Cynthia. I'm glad I went to Demi. I don't know that it's going to go the Academy Awards route for her in that role, but I'm glad she won it.
Yeah, good for her. And Amy Adams was nominated for Night Bitch. Then performance by an actor in a motion picture, musical, or comedy. Sebastian Stan in A Different Man. I have to confess, I didn't watch A Different Man.
I think it only let me look at the box office. It was very, very limited.
Or
That's
was
where
it
the
straight
actor
to-
gets like a surgery, right? For his like
Oh,
messed up
that's
face.
right. That's right. And then like his.
Yeah, it made like 1.3 million.
That's
and then
right.
it
He
was
goes
streaming.
through the process to change his. I forgot about that
Right.
movie. Anyway, one of the best moments of the night. I saw this a little bit earlier today on YouTube. When Sebastian Stan had won the award, he was backstage doing an Entertainment Tonight interview, and Anthony Mackie comes running in yelling, "We won!
Yeah.
We won!" and Sebastian Stan is Captain America and Winter Soldier are back. You know, I thought that was. If you haven't seen the clip, you should look it up. It's pretty funny.
I do like that they get along that well.
Oh yeah. So Sebastian Stan. I don't know if you saw this on the carpet before the awards. They were talking to Sebastian Stan about like the movies he's really looking forward to, and he said, "Well, Thunderbolts." And she goes, I think if I read it right, she's asked like, "Well, what about like Anthony Mackie's like Captain America?" He goes, "I don't know who Anthony is," which I thought was hilarious. Anyway, Sebastian Stan beat out Jesse Eisenberg for Real Pain, Hugh Grant for Heretic, Gabriel LaBelle for Saturday Night, Jesse Plemons for Kinds of Kindness, and Glenn Powell for Hitman. So good for Sebastian Stan taking home that award.
Yeah.
All right. Best Motion Picture Animated went to Flow,
What?
not to The Wild Robot.
I've never heard of that.
That was a big. That's crazy. I saw Flow.
I did too. It's very good.
Yeah.
I don't think it's nearly as good as Wild Robot.
Wild Robot. Yeah.
What was
It's
Flow? What's
crazy.
that about?
There's no dialogue in it, but it's a cat and these
Cat.
other animals.
That's all you need to know.
Okay.
Fucking
Well,
cats.
and other animals too.
I'll check it.
The other animals when they're surviving on a boat together in a flood.
Oh.
Again,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. Very good.
Uh-huh.
It's very good. I'm not knocking it getting nominated or anything, but I thought Wild Robot
I was
clearly the
surprised when
better
I went
film.
and saw that. I'm like, this was great, but it's not going to get attention, and then it wins.
Then in their big award, or they're getting into the big awards. Best Director went to Brady Cobert for The Brutalist. Best Original Score went to Challengers. Best Original Song went to Amelia Perez. The most Golden Globes, get your fucking heads out of your asses. Start to pretend like you're a legitimate award show.
What, the box
You're
office?
not helping yourself by having cinematic and box office achievement. Fuck you.
Did you see-
I mean,
so stupid.
Then that doesn't even make sense, right? Because
It
if it's
makes
a
no
box
sense.
office achievement, then which one had the biggest box office?
It's you know what it is? It's we need to highlight the biggest movies to get people to watch.
Did you see that?
Wicked, and so they gave it to Wicked. Like, what's the criteria?
But I mean, then it should have been Deadpool and Wolverine because
That's who I thought.
It's the
should
much
won.
bigger movie.
yeah. and a
Did you
bigger
see-
audience.
Did
I
you see
mean,
that presentation though?
I did not.
Vin Diesel was the first one to introduce this.
Oh,
award,
and then I heard he said
and he's
hi
like,
to Dwayne
he's
Johnson.
like, Dwayne,
Hey,
hey,
Dwayne.
Dwayne. And like it felt like he was like eyeing him the whole time. I'm looking too much into it, so I'm not gonna start nothing. But that's what
Anyway,
I saw.
stupid thing. They lose even what little credibility the Golden Globes have. They just piss a little bit of that away more by even having that category.
and then they
It's
gave it
so
to Wicked,
stupid.
which was already going to win in other categories anyway.
It's just so
whatever.
dumb. Anyway, best television limited series, they gave it to Baby Reindeer, which was really good, but they gave it to it over The Penguin, which I thought was odd. Okay, anyway, best television series, comedy or musical, Hacks
course.
beats out Abbott Elementary, The Bear, The Gentleman. I'm glad The Gentleman got nominated, actually. Nobody Wants This and Only Murders in the Building. Best performance by an actress in a television drama series, Anna Sawai for Shogun.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Deserving.
She owned it. She deserved it. Although
was-
I was really happy to see Kathy Bates got nominated
yes,
for Matlock.
yes.
I do
I'm
wanna-
actually loving her in that.
I want to check out this Black Doves with Keira Knightley. I haven't seen any of that yet.
I have also not seen Black Doves.
Yeah.
I've not watched that myself either. All right. And then of course, best television series drama went to Shogun beating out Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which shouldn't have been nominated. The Diplomat, Squid Games, Slow Horses, and Day of the Jackal.
Man, Slow Horses gets nominated a lot.
A lot, yeah. Best performance by an actress in a motion picture drama went to Fernanda Torres in I'm Still Here, surprisingly beating out like the likes of Nicole Kidman for Baby Girl, Kate Winslet for Lee, Tilda Swinton got nominated, Angelina Jolie got nominated, but she wins that. Best performance by an actor in a motion picture drama, Adrian Brody won for The Brutalist.
Deserved.
He's
Well deserved.
You know what? I still would have given it to Ray Fiennes for Conclave, but I've got no issue with Adrian Brody winning. He's so good in The Brutalist. I didn't overall love the movie,
Right?
but his performance is...
Yeah.
Remember, he's already an Academy Award winner.
Yeah.
He's already got an Oscar, and he might be getting his second Oscar.
As much
Oh,
as
God.
Timothy Chalamet, I felt really did become Bob Dylan, I feel like oftentimes biopics just don't get a lot of love. Now, that may be different for the Academy, but we'll see.
All right, then Best Motion Picture Drama went to The Brutalist.
Crazy.
Which it has no business winning, but whatever. I literally think at least two of them deserved it more. I definitely Conclave, definitely Dune Part 2.
I was supposed to see Nickel Boys. That was the day I first got sick, so I had to cancel.
And then Best Motion Picture Musical or Comedy went surprisingly to Amelia Perez over Honora.
Oh, wasn't The Martian too?
What? Oh, yeah.
Musical or
Martian
comedy?
too. Beating out Honora, Challengers, Real Pain, The Substance, and Wicked.
I mean, A Real Pain's the only comedy on that list. I mean,
Yeah,
honestly.
it's true. I mean, Wicked also fits there properly.
I
because
get
it's
it. Musical,
or
that's
comedy,
true. Musical
right?
or comedy.
Honora has some laughs, but it is not a comedy.
No.
But whatever, that's the Golden Globes for you.
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, guys, that's the rundown. That's the list. As Blackberry is saying, Honora is a comedy. I don't know that I would call it. I mean, again, it definitely has moments that are funny, but I feel like the funny comes out of the dramatic present. I don't know. I would consider Honora drama.
I
but that's
hate
me.
to ask this,
All right.
but is there one possible winner here that has a chance to do it at the Oscars? Obviously, we're talking about movies.
Well, The Brutalist. I mean,
Yeah.
I like it's an extremely well-made movie. People should see it. I don't think it has any business though about being talked about in the top 4 or 5 films of the year. I mean, if the movie ended at the intermission, maybe, but the second, like Jonathan was the first one to point out to me before I saw it, that the second half really starts to
It
drag
plateaus and then it goes down.
and becomes really emotionally laborious.
Mhm.
And I remember thinking, I'm watching, like, Jonathan was dead on about this. Like, I don't know. That's just me. But it's got a lot of momentum. Adrian Brody, definitely. I think Cynthia Erivo probably takes Best Actress. But, I mean, again, let's wait for the actual Oscar nominations to come out. And then we'll start speculating a little bit so far. But anyway, to me, the big thing, Colin Farrell winning Best Actor for The Penguin. I think that's great. And good for them. Good for them. Anyway, guys, question is for you. Did you watch the Golden Globes? If so, what did you think about the show? I haven't watched it yet myself. And if not, what did you think about the results? I mean, they're not bad. Some good ones, some bad ones, but it is, after all, the Golden Globes. Anyway, whatever you guys think about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right. With that down, guys, let's move on to the important part of our show, which is taking your comments and questions. But before we do, we're going to take a quick moment here and thank one of the sponsors of today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast, our friends at Hungryroot. Guys, we want to take a second and thank a sponsor of today's video, Hungryroot. You know, grocery shopping used to be one of the biggest struggles. Between your busy schedule and wanting to eat healthier, it just feels impossible to stay on top of everything. But all that changes when you discover Hungryroot, the easiest way to eat healthy without the hassles. Hungryroot is like having your own personal grocery shopper. They take care of the weekly shopping for you, recommending healthy, high-quality groceries tailored to your tastes, nutritional preferences, and even health goals. They've got it all: smoothies, snacks for the kids, ready-to-eat meals, and even supplements. For me, Hungryroot is absolutely a game changer, guys. My health goals have become so much easier to stick to. I love how they personalize my cart every week and even get smart about my preferences as I go. It's honestly stress-free and so simple. You're gonna love Hungryroot as much as I do. Take advantage of this exclusive offer. For a limited time, get 40% off your first box, plus get a free item in every box for life. Go to hungryroot.com/Campea and use the code Campea. That's hungryroot.com/Campea, using the code Campea to get 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life. hungryroot.com/Campea, code Campea. And thank you to our friends at Hungryroot for sponsoring today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast. All right, guys, with that down, let's get on to your questions and topics here, shall we? Jonathan, what we got up first?
First up, we got Bonesaw.
Bonesaw.
James Lamar confirmed he is coming back for the Dexter sequel series. Have you started Original Sin yet? Good time to be a Dexter fan.
I think he asked this question before. I've still not started watching Original Sin yet. I am interested in it. I wasn't originally because I didn't like the last Dexter series. I love the original series. Didn't like the last one, but then the trailers kind of turned me on to it. So I am going to watch it. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. All right, what's next?
Tron says films that have the biggest potential to flop in 25 in no order. Minecraft,
Yep.
Captain America 4 if it sucks. Now You See Me 3. They're doing a third Now You See Me. Okay. Mortal Kombat, Tron, and Snow White. I'm no Ziegler hater, but the trailers have done nothing
Again,
for
I
me.
think I answered this. Actually, I'm pretty sure I've already answered that question. So I mean, Minecraft, absolutely. I don't think Snow White will flop, but I don't think it's going to be a big hit.
Come on, Mortal Kombat's supposed to flop.
And
That's
Mortal
what makes it
Kombat,
so good.
I mean, I'm not sure what the budget on it is, so I don't know where the flop number would be. I mean, it's not going to be a huge hit because the other one wasn't, but I mean, we'll see how it goes.
All right.
All right, what's next?
Hopefully I got it in the right direction. So here's Daniel Vasquez. Here's my top 5 anticipated for 25. Zootopia 2, Wicked for Good, The Bad Guys, Superman, Avatar, Fire and Ash. P.S. In my opinion, people don't put Zootopia 2 on their list, just are underestimating the true foxiness of Nick Wilde.
And yep, believe I answered that last week as well.
So I wonder if you were going the other way,
No, I was going up. Let me see
because
here.
I thought the last one we ended it was that.
Sorry, you guys got to remember, Jonathan's been out
Yeah.
for a bunch of weeks, or was out for a bunch of days. So, let me
Because the video ended around where I looked around that, so it wasn't sure.
Okay, let me see if I can figure out where we left off. Oh, this is I've got the wrong.
What about semi or blade scripts? When a studio claims an unreleased movie as a tax write-off, does it become illegal for them to release it in the future, or can they do what they want with it as long as they don't profit off their actions?
Oh, I'm not. No, I'm not. I don't think I answered that.
That's
Okay,
a
so
new one.
that's where we
That's
got.
a new
That's
one.
where we
All
started
right.
from.
So, here's the thing. In business, okay, forget that it's the movie business. All right. In business, if you lose money, right, that losses get offset against your taxes. If you lose money on something, that gets offset against your taxes, regardless of whether you're making movies, whether you're making shoes, whether you're making jeans, whether you're making soda, whatever. So when a movie loses money, like even if a movie gets released in theaters, if the movie loses money, those losses go as tax write-offs. Now, everybody thinks tax write-offs is free money. Tax write-offs are not free money. You still lose money. You just lose a little bit less because there's a counterpoint to the taxes, but you're still losing money. It's not like it's free. All right. Like when let's say, for example, I buy a brand new camera for my business, right? Let's say that, just to make it really simple, we're going to create a ridiculous scenario here. Let's say my business makes $1,000 this year and I get a $500 camera. Well, that camera does become a tax write-off because it's a business expense, but it's not like it takes $500 off my taxes.
Yeah.
It takes a portion of that off my taxes. Anyway, with that being said, with Wile E. Coyote, right, they decided not to put it in theaters and just took the whole expense as a tax write-off. Now, they can still release it in theaters, and if it ends up still losing money, the losses still become a tax write-off. It's just that then they'll have to offset against what they claimed before because now the movie didn't actually lose as much money as they did. So yes, they can, if they wanted to still release the Batgirl movie, they can. If they still want to release at some point the Wile E. Coyote movie, they can. They're just going to have to offset whatever money they do make on those, even though they'll probably lose money. Those have to offset against the amount they claimed that they lost originally. So it's all completely legal and they still can do it. Not that they will. Anyway. All right, what's next?
Mr. I says, "Good day, gentlemen. John, you're in an alternate universe where Blade is still coming out this year. Where would it be on your most anticipated?" Sorry, Ray.
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, do they even have a director yet?
They've had 4.
Let's not get into the details, all right?
No.
Just
but I mean, I'm just saying, I don't know. I can't remember if they even have a director on record right now. Anyway, a lot of where I would put it on my anticipated list would have to do with who's directing.
Right.
Like, do they get a really good director or do they get the director of Madam Web? I mean, I don't know. That being said, it would not be at the top of my most anticipated. Like, it wouldn't be in the top 3 or 4, but it would make my list. I mean, I've been looking, but the problem is I'm losing enthusiasm for it each year that passes, right?
Yeah.
But I would still be looking forward to it, yes.
Bassam Tariq, I can't remember if he was one of them listed as a director.
I think he was one of the original guys.
Yeah,
I don't
one
know
of
if
the
he's still
OGs,
on there or
right?
not, though. I think he might have left.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
But Ken P says, "Hey, John and crew, cheers from Brazil. Here's my most anticipated movies: F1, Tron, Ares, Avatar 3, Superman, and Mission Impossible. Question: what's your favorite movie of all time? I'm addicted to your channel. Great content."
Everybody knows what my favorite movie of all time is: Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars.
And I count, people say I'm cheating. I don't care what you think. I count the original Star Wars trilogy
As one.
New Hope, Empire, Return of the Jedi. To me, that is Star Wars. So Star Wars is clearly the most influential movie in my life, my favorite movie of all time, and is the whole reason I'm even in movie punditry. So yeah. All right, what's
go.
next?
He's back, says the man.
Oh, and by the way, somebody in the live chat just said Jedi is the weaker of the no. Return of the Jedi is the best of the 3. I don't care what anybody else says. Return of the Jedi. I mean, they're all 10s, but you know, they're 10, 10A, and 10B. Return of the Jedi I still think is the best one yet. All right, what's next?
The man, the legend, just mentioned racing movies, and this got me thinking, where's Hot Wheels from J.J. Abrams, announced years ago?
I don't think that was still happening, because remember, they ended the deal he had with the studio. They renegotiated a new deal. So I don't know this, okay? I think that project's been scrapped. I could be wrong, but I think that project's been scrapped to the best of my knowledge. Although I could totally be wrong. All right, what's next?
Performing Artist says, Happy New Year, crew. Who do you have the best chance and talent to write a worthy legacy sequel trilogy to Back to the Future that Robert Zemeckis and cast would be proud of? Also, which studio? My first pick might be Lionsgate. Bring the filthy in 2020. I think Universal would still have the rights to that, right?
Yeah, I think they would. I mean, I don't care. As long as you get a good, you know me, guys, X director, X actor, X writer. As long as you bring on somebody that's really good. Bring on somebody that has a great track record, somebody who has proven, not that everything they've ever done was great, but somebody that has proven they can knock it out of the park when they swing well. And that would be great. Now, I don't know if there's a place for more Back to the Future today, but I'd be up for it if they did.
Mhm.
All right, what's next?
Oh yeah, and also that J.J. Abrams Hot Wheels movie, if it does come out, it's still scheduled for July 2025.
Oh yeah, and there ain't no movie
Yeah,
coming
there
out in
ain't no-
July of 2020.
Yeah, yeah.
Like really, 6 months from now. Again, but then again, who knows? Like I said, I don't know. Maybe it very quietly has been in production this whole time.
Yeah.
So before a bit of Batman too. Logan Vaughn says, here are my top 5 movies of 2024. Dune 2, Wild Robot, Deadpool, Wolverine, Inside Out 2, and Anora. I'll also shout out Smile 2 and Strange Darling. Both made my top 10 despite not being on my radar at all. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. Yeah, man. Strange Darling, I was like on edge.
Yeah, Strange Darling was pretty great. I not so much Smile. I got to admit, I wasn't quite in love with Smile 2. Although, what's her name? Princess Jasmine.
Oh, right.
Naomi Scott.
Naomi Scott.
Yeah.
She was quite good in it. I'll give her that. A lot of people did a double take when I did my best films of the year, and I put Deadpool and Wolverine at number 2. Again, for me, and I did give this disclaimer when I started giving my top films of the year list. I said, I evaluate movies based on the experience they deliver. Whether that experience is thought, feeling philosophical, fear, thrills, excitement, laughter, joy, terror, whatever. Movies are meant to be experiential events. And I said, listen, by that criteria, Deadpool and Wolverine just gave me one of the best in-theater experiences of the year. I mean, there's a reason we went back to watch it like 6-7 times. So anyway, that doesn't mean you need to have it that high on the list, but yeah, that was right up there for me as well. All right, what's next?
Twilight Boy.
Twilight Boy.
I gotta say, I'm really enjoying the new Dexter prequel. It's not amazing, but it's a lot of fun. I especially like the surprise opening scene. It gives me hope for the upcoming revival in June. Hope to see them fully stick the landing this time.
Yes, again, I haven't started watching it yet, although hopefully I will in the next couple of weeks, now that I've gotten through The Diplomat. I'm going to start watching it, and I would love to be excited about Dexter again, because that last series was not good. And I kind of rolled my eyes when they heard they were doing a revival of it with Michael Hall again.
Mm-hmm.
But hearing that everybody's liking this new series has given me some hope for it. So I'll get caught up. All right, what's next?
We got Amin who says, still need to see some films like The Brutalist and Nickel Boys, but here's my top 10. Civil War, Inside Out 2, Deadpool, Alien, Sing Sing, Conclave, Wicked, Wild Robot, Anora, Dune 2. Honorable mentions would be Substance, Twisters, and Gladiator 2. Oh, and A Real Pain. I wanted to see A Real Pain and I missed it.
Yeah, very, very close to my list. That was very, very close to my list. I still think for me, one of my bigger disappointments is Gladiator 2. Again, I like the film. Don't get me wrong. I like it. In a thumbs up or thumbs down world, I'm thumbs up. But I didn't think it was awesome. I didn't think it was great. But it's getting a lot of flowers right now, and a lot of people do seem to like it, so that's good.
Yep.
All right, what's next?
Your name says, like Fern got to press it on Skeleton Crew, I want my own emergency hull demolition sequencer button to press on my car.
That was a pretty wild scene.
Yeah. Because I was confused, but I was like, so they're just going to blow themselves up? But then I got it.
Yeah, I mean, it was like what is going to happen when they hit this button? And then all of a sudden it slips out like a cocoon. And I'm like, all right, you know what? That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because when that machine started digging its claws, I'm like, how are they going to get out of this? And then they did that little shot. I really like it. I thought it was great.
I do feel like that episode could have been one episode, though. Sorry, that episode and the one before.
Yeah.
I feel like that whole time they spent on that planet could have been a very, like a 50-minute, 55-minute episode.
Yeah, again, as much as I love the last episode, I was very dissatisfied with like a 26, 27-minute runtime.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, guys. I mean, like look at all the other major shows. You want to get people talking more about their shows, more invested in them. Give them actual events to look forward to every week. Like when Penguin was on, like every week we were like, it's just a big countdown to that big event because we were getting a true meaty, like hour-long episode. That minimum 45, 50 minutes to hour-plus episodes. Like this was like, when it's like 26 minutes, 27 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like, it takes away some of that excitement for me, because like whether it's Shogun or Last of Us or whatever, it's like you count down, you're looking forward to this big thing. And again, the episode was still really good.
Yeah.
But it was just so fast. You know, you start the episode, it's on, I get up to go into the kitchen where I can still see the TV from, to get Ann and I a snack and a drink as the show's starting. And I sit back down, and before we're even through our snack and drink, the show ends. Like, I really need Star Wars to smarten the fuck up and start making legitimate must-watch TV stuff. And that means more meaty episodes. Anyway, I'm still absolutely loving Skeleton Crew,
It's
though.
fun.
All right, what's next?
Brian O'Connor says, we all love Ben Affleck, but I never understood why people think his Batman film is the greatest film never made. BVS and JL were flawed on a script level, and Torrio was his guy. If Affleck had a deep understanding of Batman, he would have helped Torrio write.
All of that, everything you just said is wrong. Like, Ben Affleck had no say on the script of Batman versus Superman. Just that's first. Secondly, he did write the Batman script that didn't get made. So two different writers, two different, like totally different scenarios. And just because you don't like one thing somebody writes doesn't mean that's all they're capable of. You know, bringing in Batman, you're bringing him in. And listen, quite frankly, I thought Batman, first of all, I like Batman versus Superman. I like that movie. And Batman, Terrio had a complete understanding of Batman in that movie. One of the reasons I liked that movie was because, and I said this before, it's the one movie that truly, truly, truly understood. None of the other Batmans did. That Batman is the actual person.
Right.
Bruce Wayne is the fake.
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne is the mask. The cowl isn't the mask. Bruce Wayne is the mask. To truly understand Batman is to understand that one foundational thing. And even though the Christopher Nolan films are the better films, don't get me wrong, they are. The Dark Knight trilogy he did are the better films. Even Christopher Nolan didn't quite get that. Bruce was actually Bruce, and then he took on the Batman persona. In Batman versus Superman, when you see like Bruce in the cave talking to Alfred, he's Batman, even without the costume on, even without the cowl. And it's when he goes out in public that the artificial thing took over. Mm-hmm. But anyway, the reason you hear people say that the unmade Batman thing was the best ever is because there's a couple of writers at DC Comics. Their names are eluding me right now. But where this all comes from is that there's some key DC guys, some key DC writers who did read Ben Affleck's script and said it was the best Batman ever written. Now, that's not coming from me. That's not coming from Joe Fart. That's not coming from anywhere. This is coming from some DC comic writers who read it and said, this is the best written Batman thing ever. So that's why that is out there. And why that's a thing that gets talked about a little bit. No, it wasn't Kevin Smith. Logan Vaughn is saying, that's not, there was an actual like on-staff writer there who came out and said that. I can't remember his name though right now. All right, what's next?
Okay, sorry, and this was a follow-up to it, but I'll just read it, though. But I remember in an interview, David S. Gore saying he had to explain Batman Lord of Nolan when they began working on Batman Begins, and I think this is what Terrio lacked. Affleck's Batman would have been just more of the same, but it wouldn't have because...
No, again, I don't understand why you are making that comparison. I don't care that Terrio and Ben Affleck are close. They're still two different people.
Right.
Jonathan and I are close, but if we were both to write a script, I don't know, I'm just going to pull up a random superhero, Shazam. If both of us were to write a Shazam script, they would look totally and completely different. So it's a false equivalency you're making there. And again, I love Christopher Nolan's Batman movies. I don't think Christopher Nolan, though, has a better understanding of Batman than Ben Affleck does. That's just my kind of take on it. Even though his movies ended up being the better movies.
I mean, Affleck did have a Batcave in his house, didn't he? Did he not?
Yes. Yeah, he literally had a Batcave built into his house.
So there you go. All right.
What's next?
Daddy Tan says, hi, John and crew. First time tipper. There's a new Donnie Yen movie, The Prosecutor, out here in Asia, but not in the US, I think. No, I've seen a thumbnail for it. I just don't remember where you can stream it. Decent story with great action. Recommended for those that like to see the bad guys getting smacked by the good guys. I take it back. I saw it on AMC theaters, the poster. It's coming soon.
Right.
Oh, no, that's a movie. I thought he was saying that was a series. That's a new Donnie Yen movie.
Yeah, it's a movie.
Yeah, movie. Yeah,
I have not heard of it. I will check out anything Donnie Yen is in.
Yep.
yeah. It's
And
on the.
you're right. There's a visceral joy that happens in an audience when it's just a good guy beating the crap out of the bad guy, especially when it's a bad guy that we really, really, really hate.
Yeah.
So,
And I particularly like Donnie Yen beating up bad guys.
Oh yeah, particularly like Donnie Yen beating up bad guys. By the way, if you guys have never seen, by the way, I don't know the proper pronunciation.
I just call
don't know if
it
it's
Ip
Ip
Man.
Man or
Ip.
some people
IP
call it
Man.
IP Man.
Maybe, but
whatever.
I say
if you haven't
Ip.
seen
Ip
those
Man.
movies, some of them get a little bit cheesy. You should check out the Ip Man
Those are
movies.
great.
All right, what's next?
The canon says the Lively versus Baldoni case.
Don't care.
Yeah.
And go ahead and read it.
Oh, but yeah, it's not actually about that. It's
Okay.
it's more about like practices. But
Okay,
so
great.
outside of this specific situation, what would Campea say is out of the line for a producer, an actor, director, or a writer, respectively, in such a collaborative film? What goes past the line? I think making someone uncomfortable goes past the line.
I mean, look. I think what crosses the line in that relationship will be the same things that would cross the line in any interpersonal interactivity, right? Now, look, I'm also one of the guys like there. I remember there was a big debate that went on. Remember when that stuff came out that Tom Cruise like screamed at those guys on the cast of the Mission Impossible movie because
I forgot about that.
They broke the COVID protocols that they were trying to film in when they were spending tens of millions of dollars to try to make sure all the protocols were being followed because hundreds of millions of dollars were on the line. People's jobs were on the line and all that kind of stuff. And Tom Cruise, instead of firing them, because he didn't fire them and he should have fired them, but he didn't fire them. He let them keep their jobs, but he laid into them and screamed at them. And I'm sorry. I'm completely dismayed by how many people writing goes, oh no, you shouldn't yell at people. Yeah, guess what, guys? Sometimes in life you get yelled at when you screw up.
The thing is that this isn't like three guys sitting in a little studio here, and maybe I pull a plug out by accident. You're not, it'd be weird to just go off on me. This is a massive business unto itself.
Yep.
Of hundreds of people that are waking up at 4 a.m. sometimes to get something right, and it's a big deal.
And these guys put all of their jobs at risk. And they were guys that broke the protocol multiple times. Because in the screaming rant, Tom Cruise like this isn't the first time. Like they've done this before, and he yelled. And I'm sorry, but like, so having like a director like raising their voice because somebody isn't doing their job properly or something like that. I think all that is perfectly fine. I mean, I remember my first law job. The first lawyer I worked for loved that man. But when I screwed up and put his business at risk, because I was new and I made mistakes, he laid into me. I mean, he always exhibited trust in me too and all that kind of stuff and treated me well as an employee. But when something would happen, I mean, he made a point. So that's all fine.
Yeah.
But then there are things that you just can't do or say in person. Now, I'm not sitting here saying anything did or didn't happen in that particular situation because we're not the National Enquirer.
Right.
We're not TMZ bullshit. I'll let other people talk about that nonsense if they want to. But I'm just saying, I don't think the line is very different from any other personal relationship you have. All right, what's next?
Cardo, the bassist. We got a two-parter. So, Claire de Lune is a piece of music I've heard
All the time.
Yeah. Countless times throughout my life. I'm 31, but my immediate association is Everything Everywhere All at Once. That film has had such a profound effect on me and shook me to my core. It took my nihilistic views on humanity, existence, and completely turned them on their heads. It has sparked a newfound appreciation for my insignificant existence, and the laundry and taxes line makes me cry every time.
Good.
Man. Sorry for random 2 a.m. insomnia thoughts. LOL, love you guys.
One of the great things about Everything Everywhere, I remember the first time I finally watched it, and that was so moving about it is not only is it exciting and fun and funny in places and all that kind of stuff, it's so profound.
Oh, yeah.
And like one of the underlying messages and pieces of art, we all take it in different ways, but to me is finding the significance in even the things we consider the mundane and the beauty in the things that we even consider the mundane. And that movie is just so spectacular and all that wrapped into one. I agree. It's truly a special film and so deserved its Best Picture win. It's such a great movie.
As far as the song goes, I think I mostly associate that song with Ocean's 11. At the end of
Oh,
Ocean's
I
11,
totally forgot about that.
they're in front of the Bellagio and the water show is going, and then one by one they all just kind of like break away. And I think if I remember correctly, it's Matt Damon who's the last man standing there before he walks away too.
It's been a while since I watched the original.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Duck says, Buenas tardes. Next movie on my poster was, oh my God, Grave of the Fireflies. I haven't cried in a movie in years, and this got me in 20 minutes, destroyed me by the end.
Oof.
I tear up just by thinking about the last scene with the siblings. This is a must watch. I'm thinking so many things, but I seriously cannot express how incredible this movie is. I'm speechless, but don't want to be. One of my few 10 out of 10s. Also, completely unrelated, after watching Nosferatu, it honestly felt like it was a role meant for Anya Taylor-Joy. She worked with him in The Witch, so...
She did. And listen, I know it's the unpopular theory. And by the way, I like... what's her name? Depp? Rose?
Yeah.
What's her full name? Something Rose Depp?
I always forget the order. Obviously, Depp is last.
I think she's good. I think she's a good actress.
Lily Rose Depp.
Lily Rose Depp. I think she's a good actress. She was even good in that horrible show. Not Icon. What was it called? Best she do at the weekend.
The Idol.
The Idol, right? Even though the show was terrible, I thought she was good. I think she's a good actress. I did not think she was good in Nosferatu. I thought it was a way too hammy. It lacked subtlety. I didn't think it was the right role for her. It's not that I think the role was beyond her. I just don't think it was a good fit. I think Anya Taylor-Joy would have slayed in that role. So anyway,
I wouldn't be surprised if he had approached her at some point to work.
Yeah,
to do
maybe
this,
it's possible. He also somebody in the live chat, Christian in the live chat, was pointing out. Don't forget, she also worked with Eggers in The Northman.
Right.
Which
yeah,
was
right.
also great.
So 2 films there.
So I wouldn't be surprised at all if
Yeah.
if Anya Taylor-Joy was his first choice for that. Anyway, the thing about Grave of the Fireflies, it emotionally destroys you. It is not a feel-good movie.
No.
At all.
And none of the other Miyazaki films are like that.
No, they're not. I mean, other Miyazaki films will have like heavier things.
Yeah, poignant moments.
But I mean, Grave of the Fireflies, that movie ends and you want to smash your face with a brick.
Yeah.
Like, it's so depressing. It is a beautiful, beyond words made movie. It's powerful and all that kind of stuff. But that movie ends and you just want to stick your head in the oven. I mean, it's so oppressively depressing. Brilliantly made, but so depressing. All right, what's next?
$20 tip from Michael Jones. Thinking you were underestimating the potential box office for Superman, then I had lunch with my son. He still buys DC comic books, but hasn't watched a DC film since Aquaman. I said, what did you think of the Superman trailer? And my son said, haven't seen it, have no interest.
By the way, thank you for tipping in $20. That's incredibly generous of you. Listen, I've been saying this the whole time, and I'm going to stay with this. People in our bubble, the bubble of people who make shows like this and watch shows like this, we represent only a fragment of the larger movie-going audience. We do. We think we are the movie-going audience. We're a part of it, but we are a small part of it. The Superman movie has a lot of obstacles in front of it.
Yeah.
And you're going to find that the attitude of this guy's son is going to be the attitude of a lot of people. Yeah. And that's why I keep saying, don't expect Superman to make a whole ton of money. If it does, great. But don't expect it to. Expect it to repair the damage that the DCEU did and pave the way for bigger success for DCU movies moving forward. I just think, a lot of people write me say, John, you don't get it. It's going to be $1 billion film. I hope you're right, but I do not expect that at all. All right, what's next?
All right, we got Rob Buck, who says, happy 2025 crew. John, rumors.
I love rumors.
Have begun about Paramount and Skydance making a bid to reboot Power Rangers, with Transformers, Sonic, and TMNT having major success with them. Do you think the teenagers with attitude have a shot at similar success?
What major success?
Yeah.
Transformers 1 flopped. I love and I love Transformers 1. I love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but it did not do great at the box office. Yeah. And best,
Sonic is a little scary.
Is hopefully going to make $400 million.
It's making me nervous.
So I'm not quite sure what big success you're referring to. That aside, I'll say it. Power Rangers is a dead franchise. No offense to anybody who are big fans of it. I'm a big fan of several things that are dead franchises, but they're still dead franchises. I mean, no, I don't think there is a future for Power Rangers. I just don't think there is. Yeah, just no. So I don't believe it. Now look, IP is king. So whenever you are in possession of a recognizable IP, there is always going to be the temptation to revisit it. Maybe even an argument to revisit it. But I think Power Rangers was a major phenom, but I think that time is long past. I just don't think they should make another one. All right, what's next?
Logan Vaughn says, this year I have a few movies I'd like to finally see for the first time. Help me prioritize my viewing order. Raging Bull, Doctor Strangelove, On the Waterfront, Amadeus, and Giant. You know what's great about this list?
Is that the Western?
Which one? Oh, Giant?
Giant?
Yeah, that's with
yeah, that's an older. I don't hear anybody bring that movie up.
It's not one of his bigger of the three he did. I mean, people don't rate it as high as like Rebel Without a Cause. But boy, the thing that I see about this is you got some like lighthearted ones and then kind of heavy ones. You could almost just do it in this order because you're going to go like light, heavy, light, heavy, light. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Look, first of all, just the fact that you're watching all these films, kudos to you.
Yeah,
But I side with Jonathan. I think the way you got them there is a pretty good order, actually. All right, what's next? Amadeus. Amadeus.
Benji the Husky. Lately, I played through Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. The story and gameplay absolutely make you feel like you're in a Indiana Jones movie. Yeah. And Troy Baker, who also voiced Joel in The Last of Us, absolutely killed it, as Indiana Jones. Highly recommend it. PS5 release in 25.
Have you had a chance to play this one yet?
Oh, yeah, I've been playing it.
How is it? How do you like it?
It's actually better than the last movie I saw.
I remember
his voice is spot on.
I remember when they first announced Golden Circle and they put out some game footage, people were really pissed off that it was first person.
Look,
how has it been playing as a first person?
Look,
game?
For what it is, the first person, it suits whatever story they're trying to tell.
Right.
Obviously, if you want to go beyond the story, maybe the Nathan Uncharted, the third person thing. But I don't know about replayability, but I'm having a good time right now.
I'm hearing good things about the game. I haven't had a chance to play it yet because I got a PS5, but I've heard good things.
When you punch someone, the obnoxious sounds that I guess the original Indiana Jones.
Because it's like the movie. It's like the movies.
Yeah. It just cracks me up every single time. Yeah. But yeah, everyone check it out.
All right, what's next?
We got Logan Stone with a $20 tip.
Thank you, Logan.
Hey, John and crew, 2 questions. Over under 30% that Captain America makes over $100 million opening weekend.
Ooh.
Between Cap 4, Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, and Superman, how would you rank your excitement level for each? Thanks. Bring on the filthy.
All right,
100 million for
an opening weekend for Cap 4. Okay, I would not say over 50%, but I'll say over 30. So I'll take the over on 30%. I just wouldn't say over on 50%. Now,
here's the list.
Okay, so Superman,
number 1.
Thunderbolts, number 2. Fantastic Four, number 3, and Cap 4, number 4.
That's my exact order.
And I'm looking forward to all of them. But that would be my order.
I would say, I would say I'm more curious about Fantastic Four than Thunderbolts because you know what you're gonna getting with Thunderbolts. So my curiosity is piqued, but
I don't know what I'm getting with Thunderbolts.
But I mean, as far as the characters, you know those characters and everything. We don't know anything about the Fantastic Four world, but I'm more excited for Thunderbolts.
But Superman is my most anticipated one on that list for sure.
Thomas is my top 10 of 24. 10, A Different Man, then Inside Out 2, Hundreds of Beavers, Challengers, Dune 2, I should say, Civil War, then The Substance, Anora at number 3, The Taste of Things, and Poor Things was number 1.
Oh, okay, because you said it released here in
2024.
Poor Things is not a 2024 movie, but I guess it released in your country. That I think it still counts as a 2023 movie, but you know what? I'll allow it.
Yeah,
Poor Things was great, which only makes me more confused and troubled by what we got in what's the new
Kinds of Kindness.
Kinds of Kindness. I was thoroughly disappointed. in that
People
movie.
thought the follow-up, they're a team, they're working together. There's going to be more of
Yeah,
that.
and I loved Poor Things.
Yeah.
But I wasn't a big fan of Kinds of Kindness. All right, what's next?
Mandis Cabrales says, "Hi, John and crew. Greetings from Tijuana, Mexico.
Hello.
The Minas Tirith beacon scene in Return of the King still gets me emotional, as does it for me. It's beautiful and one of my favorites. Does any movie the same way? Lots of do for me, but
Yeah.
for a completely CGI shot, that beacon still gets me. It's the music swelling.
Well, and it's the climax of the scene.
It's
right?
that these people need help and they're finally getting
It's
it.
Aragorn running
Yeah.
into the chamber, King Theoden's chamber,
Mm-hmm.
and saying, "The beacons are lit. Gondor calls for aid." You know what? I still think Theoden is one of the most badass characters in movie history because he's got several great moments in that series. But when Aragorn comes running in and says, the beacons have been lit, Gondor calls for aid, there's that pause because, Theoden's pissed at Gondor.
Yeah.
But there's a pause, and then you see his face start to harden, and he says, "And Rohan will answer."
Mhm.
I'm like, damn! Theoden, king! I mean, it's such a great scene. But, there's a couple of, we could sit here all day and talk about the different scenes in different movies and do that. But I'll just stick on Lord of the Rings. One of the other ones that totally emotionally breaks me, in a good way, every time, is the end of Return of the King, when they're at the coronation of Aragorn as King of Gondor, and he's walking through the people, and he comes to the four hobbits, and as everybody else did, the hobbits bow, and Aragorn says, "My friends, you bow to no one." And then the king himself kneels in front of the hobbits, and then all of Gondor, including the elves and everybody, they all bow and kneel before the hobbits. That emotionally cracks me every time. I love that scene. It's
What
so
a
good.
stupid
Although
scene.
Pippin could have.
What a
Like-
stupid
I think he could have been like, actually, Pippin, you can still kneel.
Yeah, Pip, you can
Full of a
still
took can kneel.
Full of a
But
took.
you three.
Oh, I love it. All right, what's next?
Mike Rashetta says, "Happy 2025, John and crew. My top 10 for 24, Nosferatu, Gladiator 2, Conclave, Alien Romulus, Mean Girls,
I did not like that remake.
the musical, right?
Yeah.
Hitman, Anora, Wild Robot, and Dune 2. Oh, Dune 2's and a Late Night with the Devil is number one.
A lot of
Yeah, Late
people
Night
ask
with
me
the
why I
Devil.
didn't put that on my list because I really liked it. But there were so many really good movies in that year that it didn't quite crack my top list. But that was another really good one that could have been on a lot of people's lists.
I didn't realize that Des Malkian, the main actor in that, he's a huge comic book collector too. I had no idea. So
Polka Dot Man.
yeah.
All right, what's next?
Mike's Movie Madness. His top 10 is Smile, My Old Ass, Challengers, Heretic, Nosferatu, Anora, Saturday Night. Glad to see that on there. Deadpool and Wolverine, Strange Darling, and Dune 2.
Yeah, again, for me, and everybody's will be different, but like Dune 2 is not so clearly the best movie of the year. So absolutely clearly the best movie of the year. For me personally, I think it's like the best film of the last 10 years. I just think it's that good of a motion picture. And I really hope the Academy voters don't let their recency bias get in the way.
They will.
Yeah, it probably will. 100% it will. All right, what's next?
Oscar says, favorite of 24, Anora, Amelia Perez, Red Rooms, Bad Genius, The Substance, and It's What's Inside. I thought it was a bad year for blockbusters, but a great one for indie films. A lot of great indie films.
Not a great year for blockbusters, true, except for a couple of them. But overall, fabulous movies. Which one is that about geniuses? I didn't see that one.
It was, I lost it.
Bad Genius.
Oh, Bad Genius. There you go.
I did not see that one.
Is that the sequel to Pure Genius?
Or Baby Genius? Or Weird Science?
Yeah, there you go.
All right, what's next?
Oscar says, 23, we had Barbie, Oppenheimer, Mission Impossible, Guardians 3, Spider-Verse this year. I thought Dune 2, Deadpool 3, Inside Out 2, Moana 2, and Wicked were much weaker. What do you guys think was the better year for blockbusters? Well, you had the strikes screw everything up.
I mean, there's a lot going on there. I don't know, because as far as blockbusters go, bring up the list again. Let me take a look. I mean, Deadpool and Wolverine was huge, wonderful. Inside Out 2 is a magnificent film that I'd put toe to toe with any of the movies from the year before. Wicked was really good. Moana 2 wasn't as good as I was hoping it would be.
But Inside Out 2 was great.
Inside Out 2 was great. I don't know, man. It's close.
Mission Impossible didn't do that great though.
No, it didn't do that great, but I still thought it was a wonderful film.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's close. It's a close call though on that one. All
I
right,
think
what's
I think
next?
23 edges it out, but it's not like a landslide.
Yeah.
Christopher Rosado says, "Hey John, did you see that Disney is lying about being number 1 at the American box office?"
No, that's bullshit.
Yeah, the numbers caught up. That's the thing. They were reporting on numbers that hadn't been like.
Guys, here's the thing. Guys, listen to me. Please listen to me. Listen. You know where the box office numbers come from? They don't come from the studios. Hear this. This is important to understand. When you go to things like Box Office Mojo or things like that, the numbers do not come from the studios. I made a video on this about 2 or 3 years ago. I'll see if I can find it, and maybe I'll put it in the description of the video later if I can. That is not how box office reporting works. There is a third-party company, not owned by any of the studios.
Yeah, or the theaters.
And I'm trying to remember the name of the company. I've got it in my editorial video. There is a third-party company, right? All the numbers from all the regions, from every theater and all that kind of stuff automatically get fed to this third-party company. Rentrack, that's the name of the company. Rentrack. They all get reported to them. Now, the studios will put out some of their numbers too when they hear about them and stuff like that. But the actual numbers you get reported are from an independent third-party company called Rentrack that then provide that analyze, breakdown, and do all the things they need to with that data, and then send the data on for public availability. Things like Box Office Mojo, Box Office Pro, send it to the studios themselves
but
as
even
well.
Box Office Mojo is delayed. So when people are like me or whatever are looking at it, those are delayed numbers. So you can't even take that, as accurate.
Yeah. So again, guys, this thing about, no, Universal's lying about the numbers, or Disney, they're not the ones reporting the numbers. It's a third-party independent company that analyzes and releases the results. And there are, I talk about this in the editorial, there are massive amounts of safety protocols put in place to guarantee the variability of the data. It's this all the, oh no, don't listen to that bullshit. Don't listen to it. Anyway, okay, what's next?
Yo Mama says, forget the Batman cameo in this week. This episode went to a level I've never seen before in any media form. The images were horrific. James Gunn is a mad scientist. My best 2D show in the past a decade. Are you guys caught up with the show yet? Talking about Creature Commandos.
I still have not seen beyond episode 2.
Really?
Yeah.
I gotta say, and I understand, from the Weasel episode on, I've been in it.
Oh wow.
I've enjoyed it. It's more heartfelt. You feel more for these characters. It's like it's congealing into an actual like story. Yeah, you got it. Once you move beyond 1 and 2, it gets much better.
I've heard that it gets better and better. But like, again, I didn't dislike the first 2 episodes. I liked them. It just didn't make me go, oh my God, I can't wait till the next episode. But again, what you're saying, Jonathan, is consistent with what I've heard from a lot of people, that it just gets better and better and better. So I will get caught up because it's a James Gunn thing. So I'll get caught up. I wasn't super crazy about the first 2 episodes, but we'll see where it goes. All right, what's next?
All right, we got Besponged says, this is my list for my top 10 movies of 24. Okay, so from 10 to 1. Sonic the Hedgehog, Thelma. I forgot about Thelma. Challengers, 7 would be Conclave, The Brutalist, The Wild Robot, Wicked. Number 3 is Dune Part 2. Number 2 is Inside Out 2. That was a little confusing. And then the number 1 is Deadpool and Wolverine.
Love your list.
Yeah.
Love your list. Again, I have it way, like Deadpool and Wolverine way up. I know it's not going to get nominated at the Academy Awards. I mean, for some technical awards, maybe it will be. But again, the whole point of a movie, they're experiential events, and what they created with that was just so good. Just so good of an experience that you just wanted to go back again and again and again to watch it. And that's why it became by far the biggest box office for an R-rated movie in cinema history. So good for them. All right, what's next?
The Richards Art says, sorry, I forgot to share my name. You guys are consistently the greatest channel for entertainment news, like Old School Entertainment Tonight and Siskel and Ebert.
Aw, thank you so much.
I don't know. I'm not going to take Siskel and Ebert.
But
oh, man.
I mean, listen, right from the beginning, when I created this format, and all the way back to the AMC days, my whole model was Sports Center.
Mm-hmm.
As a sports fan, like the thing when I created this model, it was like when me and my friends talk about movies, we don't talk about them from like art lovers. We talk about them like the same way we talk about our favorite sports. And so I thought I wanted to create a movie show where it had a more of a format of a Sports Center, and we talk about it like just from a purely fandom point of view. And that's, so I wouldn't say we're like Siskel and Ebert, but yeah, it's the format we're going for. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. All right, what's next?
Big Mouth Stan says Dune Messiah's release date is December 16th, 2026. That could change, of course, but if that movie is as good as Dune 2, would the Dune trilogy be in the conversation for the greatest trilogies of all time, along with Lord of the Rings and Star Wars?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Although I do have some big worries about Dune Messiah.
Yeah.
The source material just isn't. I know this is up for debate. I just don't think the book is that good, and they do some really weird things in it. They do things in Dune Messiah that I do not think are going to be audience friendly. Now, if you know the first Dune book, you know that Denis Villeneuve took some big creative liberties and made some changes from the books. If he can do that in Dune Messiah as well and make it his own thing, then there's hope. But I've got my worries about it. I really do. All right, what's next?
All right, we got Min's top 10 here. The Book of Clarence at number 1. Number 2 would be The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Love that movie. The Wild Robot, followed by White Bird, Boy Kills World, Inside Out 2, Juror number 2, Young Woman and the Sea, Turtles All the Way Down, Lisa Frankenstein. That hasn't been on anyone's list. I love that movie. Wicked Part 1.
I did not love Lisa Frankenstein. I mean, I love the girl in it because she's
in
alumni
Ant-Man.
from Supernatural.
She's in Ant-Man too.
That's right. She's an Ant-Man. She's alumni from Supernatural. I didn't love Lisa Frankenstein, to be honest with you, but I like your list. Your list has got a lot of names on there that aren't on a lot of other lists. I like that one. All right, what's next?
Mega Red's top 10. Wild Robot, Flow, Dune, Nosferatu, A Different Man, Conclave, Saturday Night, Late Night with the Devil, Inside Out 2, and number 1 was Challengers. I haven't seen that make anyone's number 1 yet.
No, neither have I. That's the first time I've seen number 1. I really like the movie, though. I'm glad it's on some people's list. It didn't make my list, but it's a really good movie. I enjoyed it. All right, what's next?
Mr. I says, speaking of Alien Romulus, have you ever seen pictures of 7'7" Romanian basketball player Robert Bobrovsky? He portrayed the offspring in the film. You can't help but see the offspring even in normal pictures of him.
I have not.
No.
Now, listen, a lot of the offspring was CGI.
Yeah.
But you could tell there were probably moments in there where it was a guy in a costume.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen pictures of the guy, though.
Crazy.
I'm sure he's monstrous at 7'7". Again, I'm really looking forward to seeing the new season of Reacher with that 7 foot whatever bodybuilder that just dwarfs Alan Richson, both in physical muscle size and height. So that's going to be pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
I was a little confused by this one, but then it made sense. Me, not the father, Maury. I never get popcorn at the movie theaters because every time I use the men's restroom, I see a lot of guys not wash their hands. They leave the urinal or toilet and walk right out of the door. Nasty. I wash my hands and don't want any pee-pee hands touching my food. I usually get nachos because at least you have to grab them by the individual chips, not a handful, just in case people, this is where it made sense. People I know do that too. There are more choices for food now as well. So extra butter with pea hands, no thanks. He's talking about sharing with his friends whom he doesn't trust.
Oh,
but,
sharing popcorn with friends that.
But what you do is, this is what I do, and it's not necessarily for that. But you ask for those cardboard boxes. You get a bucket of popcorn.
Pour some in.
Pour some in that
Yep.
that bucket or that box. There you go.
See, we have to do that because Anne doesn't like a lot of butter on her popcorn, and I love copious amounts of butter. So what we'll do sometimes is we'll get that extra little tray box or even like a little plastic bag, and we'll get the popcorn, and before I butter it, we pour some out for her, and then I go dump the butter in mine. So yes, that's the solution.
Yeah.
That's the solution. Then have some private conversation with your friends about washing their hands after they
bro.
pee. All right, what's next?
Okay. Keith Emerson says, hey, John and crew, I was thinking about the Superman trailer and thought, what if the guy in the black suit is not Ultraman, but instead Martian Manhunter? he was a part of the Stormwatch team in New 52.
Doesn't matter what happens in the comic book. I don't know. It seems pretty clear it's Ultraman. He's got the big Ultraman symbol on it. Now it's going to probably, and again, the camera went out again.
Yeah, I can go to this shot of you though.
It clearly, that's who they're implying it's going to be. I don't see any reason for them to make it Martian Manhunter. I'll be honest with you. I've talked about this before. I am unpopular in this opinion. I don't think Martian Manhunter is that interesting of a character, to be honest with you. I've been saying that for years, and everybody looks at me in pure disgust whenever I do, but I honestly don't think Martian Manhunter is that great of a character. So no, I don't think it's going to be Martian Manhunter. All right, what's next?
Your name says Neil the Heart. Of course, he's the first to be kissed. Wim the Dreamer. Every group needs one. KB the Pragmatic. How she nonchalantly says total system shutdown was funny. And then Fern, Indiana Jones of the group. How did she grab the hanging rope?
I like that breakdown. Listen, one of the great things about Skeleton Crew is that each kid is so distinct. They really are totally distinct. And I thought that myself, that Fern is the Indiana Jones of the group. Character flaws and all. I think but every one of them is great. Their dynamic is wonderful. And that whole interaction between Wim and KB was so moving and beautiful. Like when he's like, that's dumb. You should hang out with me and Neil.
Yeah.
You know
so
what?
beautiful.
It's like the blueprint, absolutely perfect for a multiplayer video game.
Oh yeah. Which I wouldn't be surprised at all if we got a Skeleton Crew game at some point. I'd play it.
I will say what I liked about the Fern moment was that everyone kind of just assumed, and I did too, that she's just so stubborn and it's got to be her way and she's going to fight all the way. And then when she finds them again and she's like, why didn't you tell me? She said, because you wouldn't be my friend. She's like, and you could see Fern kind of break down. Like, of course I would be your friend.
Which is great because sometimes even with our closest relationships, it's not what somebody else is, it's what we perceive them to be. And I love that they get into that a little bit. Oh, anyway, the show is just so good. So good.
Pacific McRim says, hey, Campea Crew, I'm bored. You get Ray every time on that name. I'm bored on a Friday, decided to watch Godzilla and Kong, the tag team movie. Halfway through, very colorful visually, but just really stupid at points. Kong fight scenes are great so far, but we'll report later on total film thoughts.
Look. There's no Pulitzer Prize winners who are writing the Godzilla Kong movies. Yeah. Okay? None.
Better than that.
But it's better than that. But to me, they're fun. Now, just because a movie, people say, well, it's okay that the movie's stupid if it's fun. Sure, but a lot of times really stupid movies also aren't fun. They try to be fun. The Godzilla and Kong, Godzilla X Kong, like these, to me, they deliver fun. And I just, even though they're doing some really, really stupid things in them, I often will realize that I'm grinning ear to ear watching it. Like, I'm sorry, when I got to see a kaiju literally get in the ring and literally suplex another kaiju, that's one of the greatest things I've ever seen on a movie screen in my life.
You have all the permission in the world to walk into one of those movies, and if you see someone with a notebook and a pencil, you get to walk up to them and break that pencil. Because there's no need for that. These are just supposed to be fun movies to me. I mean, no one's taking them seriously. They should never be taken seriously.
But even that, just because you shouldn't take it seriously doesn't mean there shouldn't be a quality to them.
Oh, yeah.
And I just think that they deliver the quality that they are aiming to deliver.
They delivered the title.
Yeah, they deliver the title. All right, what's next?
Pacific McRim is back. This is back again. Full thoughts on Godzilla Kong tag team movie R. Power Glove is hilarious. Kaiju suplex was perfect. Still really colorful, yet really stupid. Godzilla's last scene taking a nap in the Roman Coliseum for why. Have a great weekend Monday. So there you go.
Godzilla napping in the Coliseum like a puppy on a little dog bed, I think is one of the most adorable images I've ever seen. And you know what I hated? I hate. Like all you...
haters,
Godzilla nut huggers.
Oh yeah, they're nice.
Like, first of all, King Kong beat Godzilla. He knocked him out with the ground and pound.
Yeah.
Now, what I hate is the excuses that the Godzilla stands will get into. So, well, Godzilla needed King Kong needed the glove. Every bunch of years, writers give Godzilla a new superpower. Like when you go back to like the Godzilla's superpowers today are way bigger than back in the original Godzilla stuff. They are always adding new superpowers about what he can do. Oh, there's even like some animated Godzilla stuff. Like even on a molecular level, he will become a cosmic whatever. It's like, you always, so don't give me this boo-hoo King Kong got a glove when they're constantly giving Godzilla superpowers.
I mean, I firmly believe in just a hand-to-hand combat, King Kong wins every single time.
If he's that size, 'cause
I mean,
traditionally he's not that size.
Godzilla has no arms at all. I mean, so that's gonna happen. That's probably why they give him so many powers, because he has these little itty bitty
tiny
arms. He got the tail, but Godzilla can grab that tail and just spin him off into the universe.
I just love.
I'm a Godzilla fan
that
saying
literally King Kong knocked Godzilla out.
Yeah, he
and
did.
if it was, and he could have proceeded to rip his head off, but he decided no. Once he was knocked out, I'm done. Starts to drag him away, and Godzilla wakes up. Again.
Well, he wouldn't even been there if Godzilla didn't save him from Mecha Godzilla,
and vice versa, in that movie. I'm saying, I'm just throwing it out. You got to watch the whole fight.
I give him a hand-to-hand fight. Godzilla, King Kong wins all.
Godzilla. I mean, Godzilla can do anything except reach the chips on the top shelf.
Right.
Anyway, okay, and I'm sorry. One of the funniest things I've ever seen in a movie was in the Godzilla X Kong, when Godzilla and Kong are running side by side. Seeing Godzilla, it's like one of the, because we've seen Kong run. I've never seen Godzilla run.
I love
and
it.
Seeing Godzilla running,
and he
I got no problem with it. I just thought it was hilarious.
Perfect form on that dive into the ocean too. Do you remember when he jumped off the cliff?
Oh, I don't remember it.
Oh, that's when we were like, oh my god.
Swan dives in.
All right, anyway.
I gotta watch that movie again.
All right. Old Man Rook says, my 17-year-old at the time son made me promise to watch movie 43 forever ago. I suggested to every Hugh Jackman fan. Man, what a troll job.
Yeah, that's cruel.
What is that?
Movie 43.
43.
So
Hugh Jackman's in
It tried to be like
he's
Kentucky
in one of the
Fried
stories. Got
Movie,
the
but
testicles on his chin.
Oh, I've never even heard of it.
No, you should never watch it. It's one of the worst
let's
movies
not.
ever made. All right, what's next?
okay. Brian O'Connor was curious if anyone watched the 2019 film Loose,
Yep.
starring Naomi Watts, Tim Roth, Tavia Spencer. It's directed by Julius Ona, who is directing Captain America 4, 91% Rotten Tomatoes score. Cap 4 trailer gets better to me every watch. They've released so many different versions of that trailer. I don't know if they're like not getting the hits they want, but they've released now like 4 or 5 different versions
I've
of
liked
that Cap
every
4.
new trailer that they've released. I feel the same way.
There's one Cap 4 I did not like, and I noticed it was not back in trailers in theaters again. It had like this weird like cut back and forth of like previous times and today, and it had all those motion boo like moments. It was cheesy. The newest one is pretty good though.
All right, what's next?
Brian O'Connor was curious if McLovin forgot to mention that Big Hero 6 also came out in October 2014. Wow, 10 years ago. Anyway, here's a list of movies that released in June of 82. Poltergeist, The Wrath of Khan, E.T., Blade Runner, The Thing. I wasn't alive yet, but wish I was to experience in theaters. Some say 82 was the best for nerd culture.
You know, our buddy Scott Mance produced a great documentary series. I'm freezing on the actual name. It was like 1982, the greatest movie year ever.
Or greatest geek movie year ever,
Greatest
or something
geek
like
movie
that.
year. Something along those lines
Yeah.
was the name of it. And when you go through it and you actually look at the list of the movies that came out, and some of the most iconic movies of all time in theaters all at the same time. There's the poster for it. In theaters all at the same time. It's remarkable. It's hard to argue. Like, Scott makes a convincing case. It's hard to argue against it, but if you haven't had a chance to check out that series that Scott Mance produced, I highly recommend you go check it out. You did a great job on it. All right, what's next?
Dildar the Glorious says, I know I don't like zombie content, but you really got to give All of Us Are Dead on Netflix. It's a really good Korean film, has been killing it with their zombie content. Season 2 was announced years ago, but isn't starting production till this year due to delays. Well, I'd give it a shot. Did you?
Yeah, I've talked about it on the show.
Was that the one where they're stuck in a high school?
High school, in a school, yeah.
I actually liked what I saw from it. I just never finished
It's pretty good. I didn't think it was, if I'm remembering correctly, I didn't think it was great. A lot of the things that happened in it didn't really make any sense, but I mean, again, look, there are definitely zombie content things that I love. Like most recently, the thing that I loved was probably Train to Busan. Like
Mhm.
that was great. It's just that, again, all I'm saying is that almost all zombie things are basically the same. Different levels of quality for sure, but
Right.
it's all basically the same story. It's just all with different angles. But again, every once in a while you get a Shaun of the Dead. Every once in a while you get a Train to Busan. Every once in a while you get something like that. I just didn't think All of Us Are Dead was particularly memorable, but that was just me. All right, what's next?
Naftali says, I'm surprised Disney never pursued a sequel to Big Hero 6.
Me too.
Considering a massive worldwide gross of over 657 million and domestic gross of 222 million, do you think its poor domestic performance was the reason behind its lack of a sequel?
I wouldn't say making 222 million domestically is a poor performance.
No.
No.
I honestly don't know why they did. I mean, they opted to pursue doing television with it instead.
Oh yeah.
And I think that was a mistake.
You think it had to do with what's his name?
TJ
leaving?
Miller? No, because his bigger controversies didn't come until a little bit later.
What about the producer? Because
I don't remember anything about the producer.
Well, I mean, what's his name left Disney because of the allegations.
From the
Lasseter?
Lasseter.
Other movies.
They could have
from that
picked it
time
up,
ended
right?
Getting sequels and stuff like that.
Yeah, they could have
too.
picked it up.
So I don't think it had anything to do with Lasseter. I honestly do think they just faced a choice. Do we want to pursue developing television content with this, or do we want to pursue doing a sequel? I think they made a mistake because no one remembers the television thing they did. I think they should have made a sequel. It was delightful. I love
Right.
Baymax, and I thought the movie was great. I really
It
think
was
they should
set
have
up
done
for
more.
it.
It was definitely set up for more. Yeah.
Well, live action will be coming probably.
Oh, I doubt it. I doubt it. All right, what's next?
3J says, I missed a few major films like Alien, Quiet Place, and Apes, but here's my top 10 for 24. Inside Out 2, Wild Robot, Mean Girls, Real Pain, War of the Rohirrim, Hundreds of Beavers, Civil War, Conclave, Honora, and Dune Part 2.
Great. And by the way, absolutely make sure you get on and watch those other films because those are all fun. All right, what's next?
Carson Music Man. Hey, John, I'm 20, so I'm a young viewer, and I just got done with Shrinking after hearing your recommendation of the show. It brought so much emotional healing to me after my older brother passed 3 months ago.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't thank you enough, man. I'm so sorry to hear that.
First of all, terribly sorry to hear about, man. That's awful. I've never lost a sibling, and so I can't even relate, but I can only imagine. But yeah, that is one of the great things about Shrinking. Why it's one of my absolute favorite shows ever is the fact that it is so relentlessly, absolutely hilarious, but also powerful emotionally. And it's made me think about a lot of stuff too. And I'm really glad the show was able to, in a way, be therapeutic for you. So thank you for sharing that with us. And again, so sorry to hear about your loss, man. But thanks for sharing. All right, what's next?
Anonymous Bros says, fun fact about the Russo brothers, when they do direct Doomsday and Secret Wars, MCU films will make up 50% of their entire directing, not producing filmography. Also, they will have directed the same amount of MCU films as total Avengers films, which will be 6.
Yeah, that tracks. Because they will have 4 Avengers films that they've done, plus Winter Soldier, plus Civil War.
Yeah.
So yeah, that definitely tracks. Listen, everybody can have a bad day at the office and maybe will. But as of right now, when Kevin Feige and the Russo brothers work together, magic happens. Because the results so far have been Civil War, Winter Soldier, Infinity War, and Endgame. I mean, it's been magic, and I expect to see the same in the next 2 as well. All right, what's next?
Duck Duck is a 2-parter. Says, Buenas tardes. My worst top 10 looks like a troll, but I skipped out on the movies I didn't want to waste time with. I only hate the last 3. The rest were just disappointed. Kingdom of Apes, Strange Darling, Godzilla, Megalopolis, Transformers, Moana, Bob Marley, Kung Fu Panda, Maxine, and Miller's Girl. So he hated Kung Fu Panda, Maxine, and Miller's Girl. Some of my favorite this year were Furiosa, Challengers, Cuckoo, the Late Night with the Devil, and I can't express how disappointed I was in Kinds of Kindness and Nosferatu. Feliz Año Nuevo.
Yeah, a lot of people look at me strange when I say I didn't love Nosferatu. And I'm a huge Robert Eggers guy. I love Robert Eggers. That's why, I mean, he alone is why I was so excited about it. And again, I'm not saying Nosferatu, I think that Nosferatu was bad. I don't. I just, man, it fell so far short of where my hopes and expectations were for it because it's Robert Eggers. But again, that's just me. Everybody's got a couple of films every year that everybody seemed to love that we didn't, and Nosferatu is just one of those for me this year. All right, what's next? We only got time for like 2 more.
Yeah. Willow Pillow says, I like Nosferatu, but I agree Lily was miscast. She felt like Keira Knightley in Pirates. I like Keira Knightley in
I
Pirates.
thought she worked in that. Yeah.
To me, it's more like Keanu Reeves in Bram Stoker's Dracula. But
that's a good comparison.
But Nicholas and Aaron stole the show. It was a little cheesy, but I don't know how you would do Nosferatu without embracing some of the goofiness.
I don't disagree with you about that. I think it's a dark creature of the night. Yeah, there's going to be a little bit of that. I agree with you on that, and I don't fault it for that. Again, I do think Nicholas Hoult and Aaron Taylor Johnson were both great in it. I also think Skarsgård, who played Count Orlok, I thought he was great in it. I love the voice of Orlok. I really do. It's a shame he can't tell time.
I still don't know what that means, but I'm going to see it soon.
Oh, that's right. You haven't seen it yet. Yeah, you'll see. You'll figure it out. But yeah, again, I think Lily Rose Depp is going to be a very fine actor, and already is quite a good actress. Not world class or anything, but she's getting there. Terrible. You know what it reminds me of? More than even Keanu Reeves and Bram Stoker's Dracula, it reminds me of who played Mary Jane in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man again? Jesse Plemons' wife.
Kirsten
Dunst. Right?
Yeah.
Kirsten Dunst, yeah.
Wonderful actress. Wonderful actress. I just thought Mary Jane was not the right role for her. I just never felt that was a great fit. Anyway. All right, last question of the day. What's next?
All right, Tree Fit, he says, been shrinking this weekend, and Ford's performance was so good that it underscores how criminal it is that he only has 1 Oscar nomination. Academy better get their shit together and give this legend an honorary Oscar at 82. He's long overdue. You know what? He should get one.
I don't blame them that he hasn't gotten. I mean, again, winning an Oscar is nearly impossible. Not only do you have to be amazing, you got to hope there wasn't somebody else who was just a little bit more amazing that year. So you don't just give him out for giving him out, right?
Right.
But yes, he should be given one of the honorary. He should be given an honorary Oscar.
For what he's done for this
100%.
industry
alone. 100%. He's not only, how many other people can you point and say you're Indiana Jones and you're Han Solo?
Yeah.
Oh, and even outside of those two things, you've done 100 other things that are great.
And they do it. They did it for Peter O'Toole, who never got to win one.
And he will. I feel very confident he'll get one. Maybe not this year, but eventually he'll get one.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Now listen. Normally we get through all the questions, but again, because of the backup on questions that we experienced last week, we didn't have time today to get through all the remaining questions. Don't worry though, if you've sent in a question the last couple of days and haven't seen it answered, we will get caught up in the next day or so. So my thank you for your patience with us as we get caught up on all of them. But anyway, today, guys, that'll do it for this installment of the John Campea Show podcast. Thank you so much for being here, making our little show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in the questions. Number 1, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number 2, you supported this channel as you did it, and all of us involved with the show. Thank you guys so much for your support. By the way, for people who are asking about Filthy Sports is now exclusively a podcast. We do Filthy Sports exclusively as a podcast. You can find it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and yes, there is a new episode of Filthy Sports coming out later today for those of you who are asking. All right, I want to thank the people who are in the room with me, Ray Ora.
See you guys tomorrow.
Jonathan Voico.
See ya.
My name's John Campea, and until next time, my friends, bye-bye.